Oh, hi, Packer. Did that? What are you doing, Packer? Mic's off, mate. Your mic's off. What are you doing, Packer?
I was just reading a very interesting book.
All right. Are you thoroughly enjoying it?
Very much so, yes. It's a very funny
I'm
book.
going to just put mine down. Just putting it on the shelf. Hello, everyone. Sorry, I said it'll be 4 o'clock, then 4:30. Then my computer is dying. I mean, it was 5 years old when I bought it, and that was what, 7 years ago. And usually, I mean, I don't like waste. I don't like throwing things away. If you're new here, I will gibber for quite a long time before we get into the reaction. What I'll do is I'll put a pinned comment in the comments, obviously. There's also a link to buy the book in the comments. Just thought I'd mention it. It's smashing it, people. Thank you very much to everyone who's bought it here. It is this is my dream come true. I might be able to make a living as a writer. It's going to need another novel or two before that sort of dialed in, but it's going as well. Come on, Packer. I mean, I know I talk about it a lot, but it ain't that bad. No way his courage is secure on the firm. Wow. No way has Zeitgeist got a cup of tea ready. I've got a litre of water. I tell you what I've also got. Check that out for Cambodia. It's 22 degrees here.
Oh, chilly.
Got socks on. It's free. Right, listen, people. I haven't got my earbuds in. Earbuds. Is that what they're called? AirPods. I don't know. If when we get into the reaction, there's an echo, let me know. I'll just plug them in, make sure they're fully charged. Keep them busy, Packer. Headphones, me.
Yeah, so is this my bit? Yeah, I'm here to keep an eye on the chat, so I'll try and do that. That's about it. That's all you're going to get from me. Did he say where he'd wandered off to? Because I wasn't listening to him. Shouting on, where's the bird? I don't know. What bird?
Cheers, sweetheart. Oh, man. Nice one, Packer. You're doing a sterling job, mate.
Thanks, Chris. I've got this covered. Don't worry.
You're doing a sterling job. All I can hear is words, words, words. So yeah, I've got a t-shirt and socks on. As I was saying, if you're new here, hang on a minute.
If you're new here, ignore this bit, but also welcome. But yeah, there will be a timestamp.
Yeah, and that'll be the pinned comment, so you'll be able to miss all of this, and then click the timestamp in the pinned comment, and it will start the reaction. Also, if you're new here, this isn't something I've just plucked out of the air. I've been talking about the myth of mental illness for a few years now. I've had Jeff Sharla on the channel, who was a student of Thomas Szasz, who kind of caused a rupture in the psychiatric industry. People... I'm so out of breath. Psychiatry is not psychology. It is not psychotherapy. It's not psychoanalysis. It's a specific form of treatment that usually involves giving people drugs for normal life problems. Not always. Not always. So yeah, this is if you want to watch those videos, just search my channel for Schaller, Schleler. There's 3 of them. He wrote a book called Addiction is a Choice, because addiction now, it's a disease. Oh, it's a disease. It used to be a crime. I preferred it when it was a crime. It's not a disease. Oh, my disease is kicking in again. I've got to go to the chemist. That's what my disease does. It makes me go to the chemist and get a bag of needles, and it makes me get a spoon and then go and nick a couple of bottles of whiskey and sell them to the local boozer and jump on a train and wait around and score and get home and cook it up and pull it up and jab it in. Oh, how does a disease do that? Why can't you just take it out of my brain? Well, it's not actually in your brain. There's no biological markers for any mental illness, including schizophrenia. The anti-psychiatry league like to schizophrenia is a holy grail, but actually it's the exception that proves the rule, which is an idiom most people misunderstand. By the way, look into it. It doesn't mean what you think, but schizophrenia is like a basket for where they put everyone with so-called mental illnesses that they haven't got another diagnosis for. I know schizophrenics have been diagnosed as schizophrenic because they're continually suicidal. That's it. They're always trying to kill themselves. So they're psyched off and schizophrenic. I know someone else with schizophrenia who's got a job and a wife and kids. Never, hasn't even had ideation. I know someone else with schizophrenia who hears voices, but gets on all right. What is it? Just anything then? Anything that it's a bit like Russell's paradox, Bertrand Russell's paradox. Anything not in the other classifications is in that classification. If you read the description, I'm not saying people don't suffer. I'm not saying the families of people who've got people with so-called mental illnesses don't suffer. Of course not. This is a distinction I'm making. What we call mental illnesses, I mean, mental means the mind. It doesn't mean the brain. Parkinson's disease, you can find that. You can find it on a CAT scan, a PET scan, CT scan. It's there. It's an actual cognitive brain issue. But Tourette's, ADHD, or name any of them, opioid use disorder, authority, there's something like this. I always try and mention it. I always forget what it's called. Let me just see. Hang on. It's worth telling you. Hang on. Oi, Mush, what's the syndrome or so-called disease in the DSM-5 to do with authority or anti-authority behaviours? Could you hear that? You couldn't hear what she said then. Oh man. Right. Well,
No, we
this
didn't
is
hear it.
what.
I didn't hear it.
Did anyone in the chat hear it? Well, if you didn't, I doubt anyone else did. Hang on. Courage is the cure said yes. Jess, the bass pie. Hello, Jess. Can I have some more confirmations of that was heard? No, John didn't. That's weird. Okay. Anyway, this is what it said. What you're likely thinking of, and this is published, people, in the DSM-5, the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Psychiatric Disorders. That's the Bible of psychiatry. Why did psychiatry have to make its own book? Because real medicine, cancer, a broken leg, whatever. They said to psychiatry, we don't want your sham illness. It's in our book. We don't want this nonsense. Whoa, Packer's had enough. But so this is in the DSM-5, and it's called the DSM-5 because it's the 5th edition. The first one was about 30 years ago. Listen to what ChatGPT said when I asked. You heard what I asked, didn't you? Let's see if I can get Packer back in here. Hello, mate. This is what ChatGPT said when you heard what I asked. What you're likely thinking of is oppositional defiant disorder. I mean, I don't really need to go on, do I? And then it says brackets ODD. Odd. Right? This is a real mental illness. Oppositional defiant disorder. Now listen to the diagnosis. And it's basically a diagnosis. This is ChatGPT that people accuse of being woke. So, allow that to get that perspective in. It's basically a diagnosis slapped onto kids who show a pattern of defying authority figures, arguing with adults, or deliberately not following rules. In other words, it's about kids who don't just say yes to authority. That's a mental illness. Now, as a bar and where you're setting it, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. There's a whole world of medicine that says you're mentally ill if you persistently dare to question adults. Now, I haven't got children. I'm planning them. I want them. But I'd like to think I'd like my kids to constantly question adults. I know that it's easy for me to say, I'm not going to give my kids iPhones. I'm not going to give my kids iPads. Yeah, all right, I get it. But it's slightly different when I say to a kid, well, you can't do that. And they go, all right. I'd be a bit disappointed. I'd be not disappointed if they went, but why? And I go, well, and you start to explain something, and they, and when a teacher, when a kid sitting next to you slaps you round the head, and you go, ah, and then the teacher goes, Dangerfield, get out of class. I haven't done anything wrong. I've just been slapped round the head, and I've responded involuntarily. You could say a reflex response, and I'm being sent out of the class. No, I want to go, why? Tell me why. And then I might be able to explain to you what happened. And if you do that, if you dare to do that, stand up for yourself, have some agency, do it too many times, and it is a question of frequency, you can get you can get a diagnosis as being mentally ill. Now that wouldn't mean much until it gets to the point where they need to make some money out of it. It's all right, don't worry, we can cure him. We can treat him. We've got some drugs for him. Just give him a couple of these every day. 3 days later, little Johnny wakes up. You all right, son? Yeah. Goes to school. Teacher says, oi, Johnny, you're in detention because someone wrote arseholes on the blackboard and it looks like your handwriting. And your little Johnny goes, all right. That's what they call a clockwork orange. It's useless. So he's been treated, but at what hideous cost? And this is why, and when I say it's a question of frequency, when they talk about the mental health crisis, they say now that 20 years ago, no, I have to say it the other way around. There are I think it's either 3 or 4 times as many people have got a mental illness in any given year now than they did have 20 years ago. And it worries me that the dissident right is not questioning this and actually uses it. They use it as an example of what's going wrong with the country. I mean, look at the mental health figures. Look at no. You're standing on very shaky ground if you're going to use that. And when you're standing on shaky ground, that it will get pulled out from underneath you. You build any argument on shaky ground, the whole argument retains an element of that shaky ground. We talked about it on the last stream. You build dodgy foundations and then build a high rise. That top flat is as shaky as the bottom one, if not more, because it's sort of. And when I talk about frequency, not only like the first DSM was about that big, about that wide. DSM-5 is about that big because they've invented oppositional defiant disorder. They've invented Tourette's syndrome. There's a video on YouTube where a girl gets Tourette's, a mental illness, with no biological markers. That means you can't scan the brain and find Tourette's. It doesn't exist. It's not there. It's behavioural. It's not pathological. But psychiatry will tell you it is. And yet, half the school ended up with it. It's like mass hysteria. Like half the school started going, fuck off, fuck off. And why wouldn't they? They're at school. Given that opportunity, like imagine the first girl that caught it. There's no virus. There's no, you can't catch a mental illness because they don't exist. And then someone else had a look and went, yeah, I got mental illness too. Go on, cunt, wanker, teacher, big nose prick, you know. And so that's why there's more people. One in 4 Brits has got a mental illness in any given year at the moment. 1 in 4. 25% of the population is mental, apparently. Now, it's not only because psychiatry has invented more illnesses. It's not only because psychiatry has taken normal life struggles and turned them into psychiatric anomalies. Opioid use disorder. You just like taking drugs. It's not an illness. Oh, that's why I murdered my grandmother, because I've got a mental illness. And I say that a little bit aloof. People get away with murder because they've got a mental illness. You know it. You know the insanity defense. The psychiatrist comes in, one of the top psychiatrists in the world, because you've got the money for one of the best lawyers in the world, comes in, 6,000 peer-reviewed articles in Psychiatric Monthly or whatever, Bullshitters Weekly. And they say, well, after thoroughly examining the witness and blah 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 blah. At the time of the murder, they exhibited an extreme signs of blah 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 blah, and were not actually aware and didn't intend to take a hacksaw to the victim's head and stick it on a spike and run through New York shouting "woo woo woo! I've cut the head off this idiot," and they walk. Or they get a lesser charge, but the insanity defense is real. And I'll make it even worse stroke better for you. Sometimes they were only insane, they were only mad, or they only had a mental illness that allows them to wiggle out of getting nicked at the time of the incident. Like they've never shown any symptoms of whatever so-called mental illness that the defense is using to get them off the crime. They've never exhibited any signs of it before or after. But the week where it happened, the top psychiatrist or 2 or 3 just keep getting them in, tell the jury, he's a psychiatrist, for God's sake, Professor so-and-so, so-and-so, and then Professor so-and-so, so-and-so. They've all basically said, you know, essentially it would be like you being asleep and doing it. We can't put someone in prison for doing something while they were essentially sleeping. It was a somnambulist murder. And it's worked. Look it up. Look it up. And then when the person walks, they're like, yeah, weird, innit? Mental illness and all that. There's a bit of a symmetry there, isn't there? With there's not asymmetry. There's a bit of asymmetry with the old Mr. Johnson. You're nicked. You're doing a 5 stretch. All right. I'm also transitioning now. I now identify as a woman. So you're going to have to send me to a women's prison. It's got a touch of that about it, hasn't it? So I haven't seen this. This is on Daily Motion. I watched a couple of other Chris Packhams. It was part of a series, a big BBC mental health propaganda series. And I watched a bit of one of the others. and then I lost it. And while I was looking, it was like only a 7-minute clip or something. And he said at the beginning, this is part of a series, and I couldn't find any more. But then I found one on Daily Motion. So if the Daily Motion can sometimes be a bit jank in its resolution, but it should be all right. If you get an echo or anything, let me know. But I haven't watched this, and it's over an hour long. I'm not going to react to all of it, or we'll be here all night and we'll get bored. But I've got such courage in my anti-psychiatry convictions that this will be, at best, ridiculous, and at worst, hilarious. And again, I'm not taking anything away from anyone who suffers, but you don't have depression. If a doctor has told you you've got depression, they're lying to you. You're depressed. You've made life choices, bad life choices, or your environment has made you depressed. Usually a combination of the two, because get out of there if you can. You don't suffer from the mental illness of anxiety. Well, I've got anxiety, haven't I? When these people explain the symptoms, well, if you put me in a room of like 100 people and ask me to stand on stage and say something, I get really anxious. Who doesn't? Who doesn't? That's your body telling you that you're in a situation where you need to get busy. And here's some adrenaline, and here's some and dopamine, and here's some serotonin, and all that lark. It drives me nuts. Well, I've got anxiety. I've been diagnosed with anxiety. What, are you anxious now? No. Well, what? When does it happen then? Well, it doesn't, because I'm on the correct medication. And all those treatments that treat things like depression, anxiety, melancholia, the black bile, they also kill the joy as well. So you don't get the misery, but you also sacrifice the joy. But what's joy in life? Who needs that? Anglo-Saxon has dropped the first donation. Let me get the grift in order here. People, I've left my business. I'm trying to be a full-time writer and YouTuber. So the grift is more important than ever to me. Thank you, Anglo. You went crazy over Christmas. You've essentially with your Christmas donations, you feeded me and the missus probably until April. It was quite something. You can donate using a super chat or a super sticker, which is what Anglo's done there, which is at the bottom of the YouTube chat, or Packer's about to indicate a QR code. There you go. If you hover your camera phone over that, a little link will come up. Click that. That's Buy Me a Coffee. Packer keeps an eye out for people. If you use that one, let us know in the chat. Just say, Packer, I bought him a coffee or 5. And I will then put your Buy Me a Coffee message on the screen as well. So you'll still get the glory. Buy Me a Coffee is excellent because they only take about 7% of the donation, which is the lowest of all the donation platforms. Thank you, Anglo. Really appreciated. I know that face. Where's that one gone? That'll be Zeitgeist. Here we go. Zeitgeist says, I have a mate who's bipolar. Talking with him on a high is tiresome. He links, I imagine that's unrelated topics, together rapidly. Synaptic overload. And I'm not going to say to you, no, he's not. He's not like that, because mental illnesses don't exist. But he's not bipolar. Do you know? I'll tell you what he is. Different. That's it. Humans are different. I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday, a professor, and we were talking about this. Not Jeff Sharler either. And he went in to do a lecture to a lot of first years in psychiatry, and he certainly leans to this side of the mental health, mental illness is a myth side. And it was meant to be a lecture on neurodivergence. And this is the new thing, neurodivergent. And what it really means is we're special. We're like superheroes. We've got powers. Remember the ADHD video I made about that bloke who went, I can sit down now and do the most boring work for 15 hours straight and I don't care. Well done. The perfect docile body. You're the perfect government specimen. They've drugged you up and you can do really boring manual labour, like digital manual labour, data entry. There's nothing worse, like just loads of stack of papers like that, and you're just sitting there going 012 FG 905 all day long. But because the government have given him dexamphetamine, and he's in the video game, and he even says, he said, when they first give me the medicine, I felt great. It was great. It was wonderful. That's not the reply. That's not the response of someone who's been treated. That's the response of someone who's whizzing their fucking tits off, mate. I wrote for luck. They give me you. It's nuts. So this geezer, this professor was telling me last night, he's doing this lecture on neurodivergence. And he starts the lecture like this. He went, right, before we start, is there anyone here who's neurotypical? Look, people are different. We're not all the same. We overlap considerably, but we've all got friends who are really quiet. We've all got friends who are really loud. We've all got friends that are sometimes really quiet and sometimes really loud. We all got friends who are fearful a lot of the time. We've all got friends that don't give a shit a lot of the time, or it appears they don't. All of these appear to be because they're actually the way they're negotiating the planet and how they respond to group dynamics and situations. But people are different. Neurodivergent. What? You're not the same as everyone else. Look at that. Let's have a look at the other side of the same coin. You're not the same as everyone else. So everyone else is the same. Because that's the scale upon which you're measuring your divergence. And it's not only is it an insult, it's thick as shit just to even consider it. People are different. And some people are so different, it makes them struggle to function well in the society we've got. The problem is the window is closing so that they can give more people drugs. 1 in 4 now. It used to be something like 1 in 20, only like 20 or 30 years ago. Now it's 1 in 4. Give it 10 years, it'll be 1 in 2. Half the population's mental, which also means half the population is taking drugs. It's Brave New World. It's Soma. Feel anything uncomfortable? We'll give it a name. We'll stick it in the book and we'll give you a drug, usually a sedative or a stimulant, one of the two. That is the real apocalyptic future. And I'll tell you why. Because we know about the others. Everyone's talking about them. But the dissident right talks about the mental health crisis as a real thing. And it is a real thing, but not for the reasons they say. It's a machine that has been invented to make people take drugs. Loads of people. And when earlier on I said about frequency, not only has psychiatry invented more so-called mental illnesses, so obviously there's more people with them, but they've made diagnosis easier. This is how basic the DSM is. There's a load of boxes. Literally, look it up. You can get the DSM for free, PDF online. Just type in DSM-5 PDF. And have a look at some of them. And they have little boxes underneath. And it will say something like, the patient must exhibit 5 of the behaviours outlined below. And then that's why the boxes are there. So if it says something like we can look at that oppositional authority or whatever it was, oppositional defiance disorder. And it will say things like, patient has exhibited anger towards authority 2 times this month. I'm not joking, it's things like that. And so the doctor would be like, and I'm talking about your GP here, not even a trained psychiatrist. He just gets the DSM out and goes, oh, hang on, yeah, have you got angry at your teachers twice in the last month? Every kid has done that. They might not have shown it, but that's a yes. Patient has shouted at his parents more than twice in the last year. Every kid. Yep. You've got it. You've got it. Like years ago, in like the DSM 1 and 2, you'd have to tick all the boxes. But if you're a drug dealer, like Big Pharma is, how do you sell more drugs? Well, you just make diagnosis easier. You don't have to tick all those boxes. Let's just halve it. Let's halve the amount of boxes you have to tick. There's no one regulating psychiatry apart from psychiatry. So they can do it, and they can look to the people that, the first DSM, all the mental illnesses in it were they all sat around for a week deciding what so-called mental illnesses were going in it. 100% of the people involved in the production of that publication were involved in Big Pharma. All of them. Every single person. There was no one that didn't have skin in the game. One of the diseases, they got the woman who was making tea to vote because it was a split decision. This is a true story. And I can prove it to you. I won't now, but trust me, I wouldn't make that claim if it wasn't valid and demonstrable. They got the tea maker to chip in a vote. A couple of people said, well, we can't put that one in there because I've got that and I don't want to be called mental. And the rest of them were like, yeah, all right. This is all true and demonstrable. I haven't picked these stories out of thin air. There's one more thing I want to tell you about that, and it slipped my mind. Oh, yeah. The geezer, I can't remember his name offhand. The geezer was the editor of the process of making the first DSM. He said when James Davis interviewed him over dinner at his house, when he said to him, it seems like words to the effect of, it seems like the criteria upon which you chose to include certain so-called mental illnesses in the DSM, the criteria seems a bit loose and flaky and not really like the high standards you'd expect for a diagnostic manual. And the editor, not the editor, what's the actual word? I can't remember. But the bloke that sort of ran the whole show, his exact words to James Davis when he said that to him were, yeah, it's bullshit. He said that. He went, yeah, it was bullshit. So thank you, Zeitgeist. Thank you, Anglo. Machano Kapushanata Tutu for the pair of you. I hope that we've got 100 people watching. Lovely to have you all in. Hello, Ludwig. Hello, Special K. Hello, Wolfie. How are you, mate? JP. Barn Doors on the firm. Pags is in. Elf Freedom UK. Yep. There's certainly a crossover there. Nice to see you. Hello, Neil. How are you, sir? Captain Picard. 42 says it's the same as the dancing fad where people dance uncontrollably in the streets until they dropped for days. I don't know what that is, but you're mental. So, what? Tell me more about that. 42. Charlie Rose, Gur 33. Chris Packham is insane. It's interesting because words like mad, nuts, mental, insane, they are part of the vernacular. So when I'm improvising and doing live reactions, I say that. It's a video against mental illnesses, but without a doubt, I'll say, this is crazy. And it's like, what can you do? That's part of how language works. Anyway, let's get into it. I'll just have a little check over on the Buy Me a Coffee. Oh, I've got the video replies working as well, people. It doesn't work on my phone, but it works on the desktop. So when you make a donation, we're back on video replies. So, yeah, you get a personal one as well. It's very exciting.
Baz says thank you.
What for?
Your video reply.
Yeah, nice one, Baz. Yeah, appreciate it. Hello, Shane. How are you, son? We've been talking about mental illness for some time. That's going to make it a bit tricky, isn't it? Because now we're going to get onto it. Hello, IR. How are you, son? That sounds like a documentary I've watched. Is that what that is, IR? Yeah, good call, Jess the Bass Pie. If you could like this stream, people, it's just good because it helps YouTube know that it's worth pushing out to other people. I really need the help. I'm starving. Please like the stream. Look how much weight I'm losing. I'm wearing a T-shirt because I'm a bag of bones. Right, here we go. Ah, lovely. Look, Wolfie and John. Hello, John. They brought that old classic out. Lars is in. Hello, Lars. Lars had me laughing yesterday. I had a video chat with him. He helped me so much with my novel. My novel, you say? What, that one? Oh, that one. It doesn't get published without Lars's help. He formatted it for me. And he still needs paying. He said, pay me when you sell a load. All right. But I said to him, I'll help you market your book for you. And I've spent 20 years in the marketing game, which is why my novel's doing very well. Also, because it's very funny. Is it very funny, Packer? How far have you got?
I'm on page 212.
How's it going? Just a little update.
Well, it just makes me laugh. It's very funny. What do you want me to? I don't know. It's just like I don't want to.
You're getting angry with me now, mate. Jesus.
Yeah, I don't want to. What do they call it? I don't want to give away stuff that's in the book by
spoilers.
You know what I mean?
But if I say to you, are you enjoying the library situation?
Yes. Yeah. I didn't realise how far that was going.
Well, that was what I was talking to you last week. It looks like just world building, and then story arcs appear, don't they? And Hungry Louise and all that lot. Yeah. Have you had sports day yet?
No.
It's all right. It's a lot to ask. Okay. Anyway, right. Let's get on to this video. Check it out. Chris Packham. It's called Inside Our ADHD Minds. Now, remember, I haven't watched this. I know it'll be just bollocks. It will just be nonsense. I'm going to give you a few. I mean, you're going to have to trust that I haven't watched it, but I'm going to suggest a few things that are going to come across in this. The ADHD is actually excellent. That'll be one thing. It's not all bad. Actually, I'm really good at loads of things because nearly all mental illnesses have that edge. It's part of the marketing. Oh yeah, I've got to tell you about Lars. I'll get back to that in a minute. There'll also be people telling you their symptoms of their mental illness, and you're going to think, hang on, isn't that just being alive? That's 100%. You can't talk about ADHD without talking about just living, just being alive. Now, I'm not saying that, they're not suffering, but it's behavioural. It's not pathological. It's not in their brain. The brain isn't the mind. Anyway, I'm talking to Lars yesterday, and he was so helpful. I could have got someone on Fiverr to format my novel, but you pay them once, they format it, that's it. If you want them to do more, you have to pay. And it says it. It says it on Fiverr. It says, every revision is another 30 quid. I was texting Lars 20 times a day, like on WhatsApp, phone calls. I got him to take me through the whole uploading process. Like I'd shared my screen with him, and he was there, and I could tell he was getting a bit pissed off, but he had the patience for the saint, because I was going, right, what next? And he went, well, press start. And I was like, what? That button there? He went, yeah, the one that says start. And I was like, okay. And he went, right, now put in the name of your novel. And I was like, where do I do that? And it says, see that bit where it says novel title? Like, yeah, you know, and he had the patience for a saint. And so I said to him, I will help you out. I've been marketing for 20 years, got the biggest 2 lockpicking shops in the world. I made them with no budget in the early days. He's a stubborn bastard, right? He's kitting himself out as like some sort of Henry VIII character. He's buying the costume. It's costing him thousands. And he's going to have a sword. He showed me his sword. And he's going to sit dressed in this costume with his book. And I was saying, listen, just why don't you just let me give you some advice? He won't have it. He won't have it. So there's going to be some gold out there soon. There's going to be shit-faced. He drinks every day, Lars. He's a pisshead. But I talked to his son yesterday. What a lovely kid. Really nice kid. You know, I'm almost reluctant to say it. Well-adjusted, polite, intelligent, friendly, you know. And I thought, you've got to give that to Lars. He's the father, you know. But when Lars starts uploading his readings, he's going to be sitting there dressed up with his sword. It's going to be brutal. But I tell you what, I know Lars has been around here longer than most, and I've spent years taking the piss out of him, as John Palmer. He's a lovely bloke, Lars, and he's been really helpful. And I really like him. But he's a stubborn bastard. He will not listen to me. He refuses to take marketing advice from me. And that's all right if he doesn't want it. Anyway, let's have a look at inside our ADHD minds. Like I say, it's an hour long. I won't be going for an hour because it'll be dry as hell. But I've done 45 minutes now, so I'll probably do about an hour more streaming. Here we go. Let me know if there's an echo and I'll put my headphones in, but I'd rather not if I don't have to. Entire screen, that one with audio. Share. To get rid of that. Right, so let me know if there's we'll do a little sound check first.
I never look at old photographs of myself. I had to fetch these out of the loft. Even these.
Right, there you go, people. What was the sound like there? Any good to you? Was there an echo or anything? Nice one, Fat. Chris's shirt was white this morning. Yeah, but you Freudian slipped and called me Christ. So I'll take it. I'll absolutely take it. Look at John Palmer enjoying me getting rattled by Fat. Awful stuff. Let me see. What's the sound like? Rollo said, sounds low testosterone. Oh, the scrub. When you lot are on form, this is just a pleasure. Anglo's dropped another Ayrton. Ribeye tokens, mate. Fair play, Anglo. Anglo is the weird thing. I haven't even emailed you for the last, 3 videos. I've emailed Anglo because he doesn't get notifications. For the last sort of maybe year, nearly every video I remember. But this one, it was such a, it was meant to start at 4 o'clock and your UK time. And I think it started at 5:55. So it was a bit of a rush. But he's here and he's dropping the ribeye tokens of Prasha Kanatu. Right, so the sound was all right, was it? Is anyone actually listening? All good. Thank you, Ludwig. And thank you to all the scrubs who read my new Substack. Me and My Mum, it's called. No. My Mum and Me. I can't remember, something like that. I'm writing a new one, and it's excellent, man. Look out for the next one. It probably go live 3, 4, 5 days. I might even finish it tonight. It's excellent. One of the best shorts I've ever written. And I'll tell you why, because I'm going to put a book of shorts out. That's why I'm up in the Substack game a bit. But that's just a necessity. So hoit to that, Anglo. Where is it? I'm not hoiting about it on the screen. Cheers, mate. Right. So the sound was good. He certainly does sound low T. He certainly does. Prop 7 has brought 3 futures over on Buy Me a Coffee. And he says this. I wonder if I can just do this. Can you see that on your screen now? I wonder if I can just do this. Hang on. You can, but it's not big enough, is it? Hang on. There you go, look. Prop 7. I'll read it out. Prop 7 bought 3 futures. He says this. So are you saying people can't change their personalities irreparably over time in reaction to emotional stimuli or chemical stimuli like Sid Barrett and acid? Am I saying people can't change? Yeah, but that's brain function. LSD affects your brain. You know, LSD doesn't work on the mind because the mind doesn't exist. It's a concept. It's an idea. So, yeah, you can take... I mean, you don't even have to have alcohol. Alcohol will change your personality irreparably. I can't quite read it. Irreparably over time. Most drugs will. Prozac will. SSRIs change you because they're working on your brain. But I do appreciate a donation and a question against what I'm saying. That's a fair play. That's I like that kind of maturity. I appreciate this, but I don't agree with you. But that's sweet. Very nice. Nice that I can do that as well. I don't have to do all that cut and paste lark. Thank you, Plop 7. Plop 7. What was that? The Scrubs Watch. There's so many of them, aren't there? It's hard to remember. Much appreciated. And Alexander's been a member for 17 months. Much appreciated, Alex. Lovely. Right. So now we're going to get into this nonsense. Thank you, Alexander. Memberships are great. I will be doing... Listen, people, because a lot of people miss. It's lovely to see 120 people here. Tomorrow afternoon, about 2 o'clock UK time. Right, so that could be 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Because I don't know what's happening tomorrow. I've got a very sexually demanding missus. She took 4 orgasms out of me today. I got 1. I mean, that's not fair, is it? But I didn't have to do much work, though. I just sat there. Early afternoon UK time tomorrow, I'm going to do a members-only chat. It's on Discord. The link goes into the YouTube posts, but if you're a member, any level of membership, you should get a notification. But check the YouTube posts. Do you know what I'm talking about? You should do. That's where the link is. And you click that, you go into Discord. You'll probably have problems with your mic or your headphones. Everyone does, but we usually get it sorted. And there's usually 3, 4, 5 of us sitting there just having a little chat. You know, I don't dominate it. It's not me just telling stories or talking about mental health. Anglo drops another answer. How's the sick water buffalo doing? Well, since you got a 40% increase in your wages, we've actually got 2 healthy ones. So thank you, Anglo. Really appreciated. Shane once, yeah, I've faked plenty. I think it's an underrated represented behaviour. I think many men do. Like I've been at it for ages and thinking this ain't going to happen. You're just going, it's the last bus. I got to go. Did you come? Yeah, sort of. Bye. Unless you're on your own, though, Shane, then that's different. Then you might want to see a psychiatrist. Thank you, Anglo, though. Much appreciated. Right. Let's see if we can let's get into this. Packham.
I never look at old photographs of myself. I had to fetch these out of the loft. Even these.
I know
like this.
I know it's a minor point. I never look at these photos. I have to get them out of the loft. So he got them out of the loft and he's looking at them. Never is a slight exaggeration. But look at that photo. Can you see it? Look at him, look. Virtually starkus. He's put the phone down or the camera, probably camera in those days. He set that up. Someone else, I mean, I can't say for sure. I'll never be 100% about something, except for Jacques Derrida. But look at that photo of him. Okay, someone's mentioned entropy. What, that it's not up, Packer, or that someone's made an entropy donation?
Someone just said in the chat, are you checking? I don't know whether they tried to put something in and failed or what. I don't know.
Well, people stopped using it, and because this was a right rush today, I didn't upload it. But that will take me 2 seconds to do. Well, it's already been more than 2 seconds. How's everyone's 2026 going so far? Out of 10. I mean, Arsenal and Liverpool drawing wasn't great, but we're still top of the league, so I'll take it. I'm not being funny. I've just opened my YouTube, and there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 images, and 6 of them are really hot birds. I am complaining about that, but probably not for reasons you think. Matt, it looks like Man City just beat Exeter 10-1. Matt, it looks like Man City. Right, hang on. I've just got to drop the YouTube link into Entropy, and it will all be set up. And no, there's no donations showing in Entropy. I can put the link in the chat, though, if someone does want to use it. I need people to use it because they won't give me my money. You have to get it up to $100 before they send it out. And I'm at something like 73. I said to him, but everyone uses Buy Me a Coffee these days. I said, have I got to donate myself 37 quid into Entropy, and then you take your cut? So it'll actually be about 50 quid I have to donate to get the other 50 quid out. I was like, come on, do us a favour. But I should have put it in the linked thing, but I'm not going to waste more time doing that now. Anyway, where are we? All right. So he's set that image up, right? It's a bit weird on... can you go backwards with this by pressing go back? No, you can't. That's helpful, Daily Motion. Oh, let's see what he's got to say about this. Posed, naked, kind of ripped photo of himself that he's now going to probably say, you know, look how sad and desperate I am with my very successful BBC One media job. I've got a mental illness. I mean, you know, I've only got one of the best ball and game. I've just seen Exeter Man City score. Let's see what he's got to say about it.
I was in my 20s when I took that photograph. I remember everything about that evening. I was in a really, really bad place. A really, really bad place.
So bad that you could get a camera out, set it up, and it's just jokes.
This picture doesn't paint too optimistic a scene either, does it?
No, but it is a professionally taken photo with you with faux explosives strapped to your head. I mean, you've gone to a professional. These aren't signs of mental illness. These are signs of narcissism, not as a mental illness, but as a character trait.
You see, I always felt different.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Right. Anyone in the chat, right, who didn't feel different when they were kids or when they were young, tell me now. Who felt like they were just the same as everyone else? Everyone feels different when they're kids. And do you know why? Because you are. People are different. It's weird, isn't it? I mean, different genetics would, for a start, suggest difference, but also different parents, financial situation, environment in general. You feel different because you are. And this is how he's decided to start a documentary about a registered mental illness that is used to give children speed while children's brains are still developing. The male brain is still developing up until about the age of 26. Physically developing. And it shows. You could say 66. But, it's this kind of propaganda that takes curious, excited, energetic young men, mainly young boys, males of the species, not always, but mostly, gives them speed. Now, I've done a lot of speed. It's fucking heavy gear. It's heavy gear. Amphetamines are heavy. And to start his documentary, to show you how important it is, he showed him a picture of him looking all sort of, look at me, my body. And then a professional photo shot with some fake explosives strapped to his head. Is that that's your opening gambit, is it? If I'm making a documentary where I want to prove a premise, I'm gonna go in with my big guns. I'm gonna say bosh, bosh, bosh. There's me argument. There's me evidence, and now I'll talk about it. And the reason is evidence at the beginning. The reason his opening gambit is so weak is because it has to be. Because the validity of his claim is weak. And worse, the truth of his claim is not. I mean, these are the symptoms of your mental illness. You got a couple of weird photos. I wouldn't impose this upon you, but I could open my phone now. These are photos that I've taken since I've had this phone, which is about 5 years. It's full of weird pictures of me. Oh, look at me there. I don't look great there, do I? I must have a mental illness or something. It's ridiculous.
I didn't understand why I couldn't deal sometimes with the anger and the frustration.
Oh, you couldn't. Sometimes, as a young man, you sometimes couldn't deal with anger or frustration. Anyone else sound familiar? Come on. This is basic. And this is the BBC. This is a taxpayer funded. These are one of the shows that we can't afford to lose. The BBC has got higher standards. And this is nothing. This isn't even like GCSE level psychology. This is taking the piss out of you and me. That's what it's doing. Listen to the music. Oh, when I was young, I couldn't understand, why I got angry and frustrated. Yeah, me too. Me too. When I put some geezer's head through a fruit machine, I didn't feel too good about that. I was 17. I was a bit frustrated. Notice he says sometimes. Yeah, Oi, Packham, come here. I'm going to tell you a secret. We all get frustrated. We all get angry sometimes. It's called living.
And I think that perhaps many neurodiverse people, whether it's
Neurodiverse. I think many neurodiverse people. I'll translate that for you. I think many people. That's what it means. Because what is the binary to neurodivergent, neurotypical? And if we're gonna accept neurodivergence as a category, if we're gonna accept that, then we must also accept neurotypical, and that is dangerous as hell because that is normal. And if you've got normal, if you've got neurotypical or neurotypicality, and you've got an industry, a drug dealing industry, big pharma, pushing drugs on people, inventing more illnesses, mental illnesses, making diagnosis easier, that window of neurotypicality is getting thinner and thinner and thinner. And the logical conclusion of that is the whole world, the whole of the West, interestingly, is on some kind of drug and is in some way mentally ill. And I don't say that like some dystopian sci-fi novel. I see that happening. If this doesn't get called out, and it's going to need more than Thomas Szasz, Jeff Sharler, and me. This is going to need a movement. This is going to need a significant civilizational reassessing of the idea, the fundamental idea of normality and madness, which, incidentally, Foucault, the damn postmodernists, Foucault wrote Madness and Civilization. Foucault wrote Birth of the Clinic. They're historical works. They're excellent. Yeah, you didn't like him as a bloke. Oh, he was gay. Oh, I'm not interested in Foucault. I don't go out for dinner with him. He's dead. But his books are excellent. And he tried to look at this stuff. And I'm telling you now, it's only going to take 10, 15 years until everyone is neurodivergent. Do you know why? Because we already are. But a diagnosis of neurodivergence allows them to give you drugs. And we talk about coming off heroin and coming off benzos and coming off alcohol. Anyone here come off Prozac? Prozac was invented to give you like a 3 or 4 week break to get your life in order. People have been on it for decades now. You try coming off it, it's fucking brutal. Coming off of selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors is brutal. Now, I'm not going to get into some sort of, it's, heroin's worse, benzos are worse. It's fucking hard work, man. And it goes on for a year. A year of head shocks. While your brain's trying to repair itself from 30 years of fucking Prozac. Good Lord. Anyway, more
ADHD, dyslexia, or autism, before they understand that condition, before they get the support.
Dropping dyslexia in there was well cheeky. That's a slightly different. That's a category error, Packham, but it supports your argument. So carry on.
They require. They can feel really isolated.
Oh, no one's ever felt isolated. That's a mental illness. If you're feeling isolated, take some drugs.
And I suppose, in simple terms, if I could sum it up, the one reason that I'm making this program.
Right, this will be interesting. Put your suggestions in the chat now. Right, let's find out why he's making this piece of mental illness, mental health crisis propaganda.
It would be this photograph. Because
I never saw that coming. I did not see that coming. And it's beautiful for two reasons. One, I'm sure he said, if I could put into words, that's already hilarious because it's a photo. And two, what? The reason I'm making this program is because of this photograph. Look, one of the things I despise about discourse is the lack of rigor. Again, you've heard me say this millions of times, but when I was young, the people who went to university were really clever. It was a filter. It was a way of getting the clever people and the not so clever people separated so that resources could be spent on those clever people so that the society they came from could benefit that same society as a whole. But Blair turned them all into clients. So any cunt can go to, excuse my C-bombs, I don't like swearing, but anyone could go to university. That seems a bit wrong to me. I mean, further education. I haven't got a problem with anyone. Learn more. Yeah, but there should be a place, government funded, for people who are incredibly intelligent, because it helps society as a whole. They're very innovative. They're very curious. They cure diseases. They invent things. They put people on the moon. Have you seen some of the students on YouTube these days? I don't think they'd be able to get someone on their garage roof, let alone the fucking moon. Anyway, come on, Packham. Tell us how bad it is being normal.
I don't want anyone else to be feeling what I'm feeling in that moment.
Powerful stuff. Hang on, did he just cut to a fat person and a black person for no reason? Amazing. Look at the little DEI edit, the unnecessary DEI edit.
Program, it would be this photograph, because I don't want anyone else to be feeling what I'm feeling in that moment.
Well, let me tell you now, the next two people you're going to see, they won't ever.
2 years ago, I made a series helping autistic people, like me.
All right, let me tell you a little bit about autism. And I'm sure there's people who've got autistic kids or something and are going to start screaming at me. Autism is a spectrum. That's what you hear all the time. I'm on the spectrum. All right, okay. Where does autism end and normal start? Because if you can't tell me we're all autistic, if there's not a point at which on that spectrum, does it just stop? Or are we all autistic? Now, that doesn't sound like a very good argument, but this one will really hit home. Asperger's, which is a form of autism, has been taken out of the DSM. So if your kid was diagnosed with Asperger's a few years ago, and you got the drugs and the psychiatrist and all the other stuff that comes with it, there's nothing wrong with him now. Yeah, it don't exist. There's no Asperger's anymore. What? How does that work? It doesn't work. The whole thing is internally contradictory. It's bullshit.
To my mum.
Share their inner worlds.
I love you. I love you.
With the people
Appeal to emotion.
they love.
Proud of you.
Now, I want other neurodivergent people to have the same opportunity.
1 in 7 of us.
Every time he says neurodivergent, just think different. And every time he says you think different, ask yourself how many people are the same. So what he's really saying is people. That's all he's saying. But he ignores his own category error and continues regardless because he hasn't thought about it. there's no intellectual rigor. There's no intellectual maturity. This, like psychiatry as a whole, is dumb as fuck. It's stupid. It's not. It hasn't been thought out. Or we can be very cynical and say it has been thought out to sell drugs. To sell drugs to the NHS, to sell drugs to private American medical companies, to sell drugs globally. You know, Big Pharma's got drugs that it hasn't got problems for yet. They've invented drugs. They've got drugs that that are a solution to a problem that doesn't yet exist. And all they need to do is wait until they can get enough people to start exhibiting signs of normal life struggles. And like, it might be, it could be something like, it takes me at least an hour to get to sleep, probably because your life is stressful. Maybe you're not doing enough thinking or working during the day. There's many reasons why it could take you an hour to get to sleep. But if enough people start complaining about it, if enough people start going to the doctor about it, Big Pharma have got that quick-acting, fast-release sedative that they didn't really have anything for. Oh, here we go. What should we call it? Insomnino. Insomno. There you go. Couple of $1 billion a year extra in the coffers. Insomno. Do you suffer, it's not insomnia anymore, do you suffer from, what would they call it, something like, do you suffer from long tail sleep syndrome? What? I suppose, what does that mean? Well, it says in this book here, if you've struggled to get to sleep twice in the last month and you get a bit frustrated once in the last week because you don't fall asleep immediately, then you've got sleep long tail syndrome. Well, yeah, that does reflect my life. Yeah. Well, yeah, you've got it. You are now mentally ill. So the mental illness goes up next year. It'll be 1 in 3 people, and try these. These are used to treat that illness. It's just some benzo or something. Just take some drugs and go to sleep. It's nuts.
Have brains that work differently, with more people being diagnosed with conditions like autism, dyslexia, and ADHD than ever before.
Well, I wonder why.
Yet all too often, we find ourselves misunderstood, reduced to stereotypes, made to feel like we don't fit in.
No. That when I was a kid, no one. This is invented. This is propaganda, people. And the best propaganda is propaganda that you don't know you're being propagandized by. We can all watch, like Soviet propaganda from like the 60s, or even American propaganda, even Second World War British propaganda. It's obvious. It's like, we need you to go and fight and kill people and risk your life. Go and do it because it's good. Dulce est decorum est and all that lark. Yeah, we get it. But when you think you're just watching a nice, caring, it's lovely Chris Packham, he's like a wildlife presenter, and the music went from but when he said, I'm making a documentary so that other people, the sun came out over the lives of the mentally ill. He's like God. He's a God figure. It's absurd. This is propaganda. So, and I'm asking you, chat, trust me on that and watch it as propaganda. And you'll suddenly, once you see it, you won't be able to unsee it. This is mental health crisis propaganda 101.
Neurodivergent people are more like...
Neurodivergent people, what people? Yeah, right.
To experience depression, anxiety, even suicidal thoughts. So I want to do everything I can to tackle this hidden crisis.
I'm sorry, but the transparency of evil, it just gets me every time. He's going to do everything he can. Do you think he done everything he could? Or do you think he made this documentary? Was that everything he could do? Or did he just take this job, get his 40 grand paycheck and forget about it like the day after filming?
I like this hidden crisis.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know why no one's heard about it?
Yeah, exactly.
You just made it up.
Starting with ADHD.
Banging.
Working with top filmmakers.
Every day it feels like I'm fighting my brain.
Designers.
No way is he now giving you the production values. Working with top filmmakers, designers, costumers, Kubrick. It's like, what? Why do we need to know this? Do you know why you need to know this? Because there's not much else to say. There's not much, this is padding. And it's making you think it's that serious. Working with top directors. You know why? Because this is fucking important. Now, don't get me wrong, it is important. But not for the reasons he's saying, for the exact opposite reason. We're using top directors and script writers and all that because this is propaganda. And just like Leni Riefenstahl was used to make The Triumph of Will.
And animators.
That's me.
I'm giving two people with ADHD the chance to bring their experiences to life.
The ADHD was playing havoc up here.
They'll create powerful short films.
I'm just so proud of you. Oh, come here.
That reveal to their family and friends,
Wow.
how they're really feeling inside.
You could take anyone, any human, well, apart from a neurotypical person, of course, you could take any human, make a movie about them, give them that framing, that sort of, it's an appeal to authority, essentially. Give them the framing of the BBC, give them the framing of Chris Packham, and that will allow them to say things to their parents and friends that they wouldn't have done before, because the social mores don't include those usually. You don't usually sit down with your mother and tell her your deepest, darkest secrets. But he's making out that this is because they've got ADHD. With all the lights and top directors, they've managed to break through and finally explain to their parents. You could do this with anyone. You could literally do this with anyone. Just get people communicating. That's all it is. We managed to get a couple of people that I'm calling neurodivergents, which doesn't mean anything, to talk to their parents. That's it. Well done. You've done well.
Oh, thank you.
And give us all a better understanding of ADHD minds.
All right, before we get into that, thank you very much, you glorious scrubs. I hope you can see that. Let me check. Yeah. So Roy Hunter asked if is it Buffalo Soldier? Great blast from the past. Fair play, Roy. In the heart of the Caribbean. Yeah, good call. In the heart of Cambodia. Nice one. And Skyaz. Oh, Skyaz the Foot. Says, Hoyt, thanks for everything. Nice one, coffee buyers. Although I've changed it. When you join up with Buy Me a Coffee, you can change coffee. I thought it would be funny to say future, buy me a future, because otherwise I'm fucked. The problem is it pluralizes it and things like Plop 7 bought free future. Okay. So I might have to do something about that. Thank you, Skyaz. Thank you, Roy. Thank you, Plop 7. And there's an example of the videos that you get. I won't show you it because I've got no top on for some ridiculous reason. Right, let's get into the guts of the propaganda.
Attention deficit hyperactivity disorder is a rather unhelpful name for ADHD. I don't like calling it a disorder. It's more of a difference in the way the brain works. And people with ADHD don't have a deficit of attention.
Fat's talking about buy me a coffee because I do a video reply and I don't wear a t-shirt. It's effectively my OnlyFans. Fuck you, Fat. I tell you what, stick some cash in. I might give you a proper OnlyFans, you dirty bastard. Let me see if I can take this back. Does it work? How do you take it back without going back too far? Oh, manually. Anyway, here we go. Good call, Fat.
Hyperactivity disorder is a rather unhelpful name for ADHD. I don't like calling it a disorder. It's more of a difference in the way the brain works. And
yeah, you're so right. You've just pulled the rug out from under yourself. It's not a disorder. You're different. Yeah. So am I. And me and Pack are the same. I mean, we look it, but we ain't. Is everyone in the chat the same? I know I keep saying this, but he says it with all the music and the top directors and lighting and all that. It's not really a disorder. Let's move that on one. It's not really an illness. Let's move that on one. It's not really a mental illness. Let's move that on one. There's no real mental health crisis. What it really is just I'm different. And who isn't different? Who didn't feel different when they were kids? Who doesn't? Everything he said is just normal human behaviour. And what's normal? Doesn't exist really because we are all different.
people with ADHD don't have a deficit of attention. They struggle to regulate their attention, their minds quickly jumping from one thing to the next.
I'm going to meet Henry. I'm very excited about that. He was diagnosed with ADHD during his A-levels. He tried medication.
Who here has ever sat down at their computer and someone sent them a link on WhatsApp and they said, "Oh, watch this, you're going to love it." And so you're about to click on it and you think, "Oh, actually, I've still got to reply to that email from so-and-so. I'll just do, while I've got the computer open, I'll do that." And you start writing that email and then you think, "Oh, actually, yeah, there was that." While you're writing the email, it triggers something else in your mind. You think, actually, I need to watch that again. So you get that video up to watch after you've written the email. And then you look down and you've got a mosquito bite. I mean, out here, but in England or wherever you are, you know, that you might just notice that there's something on the floor that looks a bit suspect that needs cleaning. So you think, "Oh, I better clean that up before the missus comes home." I don't mean that suspect. Bringing the missus into it sort of took it on a bit of a dark angle. And before you know it, you've forgotten the WhatsApp video. Can you give me a 1 in the chat if that little sort of behavioural loop I explained has ever happened to you? Have you ever ended up sort of forgetting something and doing something else and then doing something else? I'm not saying you don't get them all done in the end, but you move from one thing to another without the first one necessarily being completed. There you go. There you go. Look at that. Look. One. Every day. John Palmer, loads of ones. 1. Someone said something brilliant. Hello, James. Jimmy from Philadelphia. Good to see you, mate. Distraction is being a bloke. There you go. Life is distracting. The internet is distracting. Every time you sit down at your computer, you are the target of literally billions of dollars of ad and marketing spend to get your attention. You would be weird if you didn't respond to all that advertising and all that stuff that's trying to grab your attention. It's billions of dollars spent on it. not just the images, but the way the images work, the psychology behind the images. I've told you before, the people who write the Apple subject line in an email get paid millions to write a few words, literally 4 or 5 words. I think the sweet spot is about 26 characters. Because Apple's mailing list is so big, if you can get 100% more people to open your email, that's twice as many. And that email could then bring in $500 million. So your million that you got paid for writing that is money well spent. The internet is as almost, sometimes I see a thing and it says, oh, you want to see what so-and-so looks like now. And I know it's trash, but I'm knackered. I've been working, I've been writing, and I'm like, I'll see how gross she looks now. And I hate those things really, because look who got old. She used to be beautiful and now she's old. But I'll click it. You can't even find the fucking article. It's just like, poof, 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 poof. And then when you try and scroll to find the article, the advert moves over the article. You've all seen this, right? Surely. And you're just like, what? And then you finally manage, click here to see what she looks like now. And the next minute, you're reading about fucking dragons or something. And it's like, well, they found a dragon in Venezuela. What the fuck's going on? And, you're the target of every second you're on the internet. You're, browsing, not like this, because you've chosen to focus on one thing. But when you're browsing, you are a target of $1 billion industry to get your attention. And all that, this geezer is making a documentary based on a diagnosis where so far all his symptoms have just been being alive. It's shocking. It really is shocking. And thank you, people, for the backup. Anglo, people, look at Anglo. He's riding high. Can you ask Baz to get me Eva Vladinga-Broek's number, mate? I take it Eva Vladinga-Broek is either like a model from somewhere in Europe, Baz's town. Or it might be just a personal mutual friend. I don't know whether it's a real. I don't. Let me see. Eva Vlading. Dutch commentator and activist. Yeah. Baz, can I have it while you're there? Yeah, fair play, Anglo. I'll give you that. Good. Thank you for another donation, Anglo. It's really appreciated. But Baz, if you can sort that out for Anglo, I mean, it is another Ayrton Senna. Look her up, people. A beautiful European lady. But sorry, back to this madness. Have you heard or seen anything from Packham yet that makes you think this is a problem that really needs sorting? He's a successful bloke. He's had a successful career. He'll be getting 60 grand, 100 grand for this documentary. It's a series of documentaries, so probably maybe like 300 grand for it. Maybe more than that. I haven't worked in media for 30 years, so I'm going on those kinds of figures. He just seems like a geezer to get someone with his life.
But he didn't like how it made him feel.
Henry lives in London.
Hang on, that's quite important. So they put him on sulfate and he didn't like how he made him feel.
In the way the brain works. And people with ADHD don't have a deficit of attention. They struggle to regulate their attention, their minds quickly jumping from one thing to the next.
I'm going to meet...
Which we've established with 117 people that's quite normal behaviour. Okay.
Henry. I'm very excited about that. He was diagnosed with ADHD during his A-levels. He tried medication, but he didn't like how it made him feel.
He put the wrong music on, didn't he? That's why. He put the Doors on. He should have put the Orb on or something. He'd have been there going, fucking hell, man, this is fucking banging. Or stripped copper wire. All the speed freaks in Dartford, they go out nicking copper wire. You go around their houses like 4 o'clock in the morning. You can knock on the Dartford speed. Well, most of them are dead now, rest in peace. But back when I was 20, all the old geezers, well, in their 40s, but they were old to me. You know, I could go and knock on their front door at 4 o'clock in the morning any day of the week, and they'd just open it, fully dressed, cup of tea or a can of beer in their hand. Hello, mate, come in. They never slept. Go in the front room, there's 3 of them. They've nicked a big, like, one of, I don't know what they're called, those big, you know, you can roll them along with wire. It's got copper. They're just stripping it. They're just sitting there with knives that they've made for the job. It's like it's a normal, like a butter knife that they sharpen and put a bend on it, so they can put it on the copper wire and just do like meat along to get the plastic casing off it. And some of it's coded. Some of that wire, because so many speed freaks nick it, I'm sure other people nick it, but you've got to go some to be sitting there stripping it. Like all night long, they'll be stripping this stuff. Some of it's got like some kind of, it's almost like that anti-climb paint, but it's like UV. So if you go and sell that down to the scrap merchant and the inspector comes along with his sperm torch, you know, the same one that they use to see if there's sperm on a bed and all that. It'll be coded, and then the bloke who bought it gets nicked because it, you know, obviously a couple of speed freaks come along going, want to buy another 200 meters of copper wire quickly? I need another ounce. I had a mate, great bloke, speed freak, and we bought an ounce once between us. So that's 28 grams, right? 28 grams of base sulfate. We've got the pans out. We've divided it in half. You know, we're friends. We're not robbing each other. So he had 14 grams. I had 14 grams. I've just put mine in a bag for the weekend. That 14 grams of base, that'll cut to about 100 grams, right, of retail street sulfate. This geezer, he just sort of, it was like a gooey red paste. He just put like a tablespoon in it, took about 8 grams, took it half of it and just put it in his mouth. You can smell base speed when the car pulls up outside. It's that strong. You know, when you haven't even opened your door, the car door ain't even open. You're like, fucking hell, here it comes. You know, and what most people do with sulfate is bomb it. You put it in a Rizzler and bomb it, and if ever it breaks in your throat, every time you smell it, you think you're going to gag. And I went to him, I went, "Oi, Roofer," I've just doxed him. Well, he's no longer with us. I went, "Do you want some water or something?" He went, "No, I love the taste, love it." I thought, you've just done 8 grams of base sulfate. I said, "How long do you think you'll be awake for?" But he was already doing something else. Anyway, let's see how bad this bloke's life is.
Henry lives in London.
Oh, referee!
With his flatmate, Callum.
Chance for a free kick here.
Originally from Oxford, close with his parents, but he doesn't let them see the real Henry.
Oh, not like other kids. I mean, other kids, they're just an open book. "Hello, Mum. Hello, Dad. I've discovered PVC outfits and I got given a mag by a bloke at school. I've been wringing my penis dry for the last 3 nights. I love it. Anyway, what's for dinner?" This is bullshit. He's got mates, he plays computer games, he's at university or whatever it is. I mean, Packham seems to be fine making a documentary. His mental illness is throwing him all over the place. This other geezer, he can't open up to his parents. Oh my God. Bring the neurodivergency police in. Woo, woo, woo. Oh, you better tell your parents everything, you dirty little bastard, with your fucking pornography and your drug taking. No kids open up to their parents. Actually, some do. Some do. There you go. And some don't. There you go.
Because he's embarrassed.
Oh, I'm sorry I keep stopping at this. Did you see what I mean about the lack of rigour? The lack of this. They are feeding our people drugs on the back of this level of knowledge and understanding. And 20 years ago, it was like 1 in 20. It's now 25. It's now 1 in 4. 1 in 4 English people are taking drugs because they've got a mental illness. In 10 years' time, it'll be 1 in 2. In 20 years' time, it will just be standard procedure. I mean, we all medicate anyway. I'm addicted to sugar. People are addicted to caffeine. People are addicted to alcohol, heroin, cannabis. When I say addicted, I just mean they medicate with it. It changes the way they feel because life's hard. Life is a battle for resources. And sometimes you just want to break from that. You want a dopamine spike or a serotonin spike. And I'm all right with that as long as you don't overdo it. And if you overdo it, your body will start telling you. It will start failing in certain areas. But this is just a nonsense. Absolute nonsense. So this geezer's problems, and again, I told you, this is his first example of someone with ADHD. And what are his symptoms? He's embarrassed to open up to his parents. Okay, you twit.
Sadly, I think that might be true of many people who are neurodiverse.
Because everyone's neurodiverse.
Henry works as a tour guide.
Hello, lovely to meet you. How are we doing? Lovely to meet you, mate.
Henry's got a job where he deals with humans. This will be the special power bit. This will be where Packham says, I'll bet my life on it. This will be the bit where he says, in his job, Henry actually uses his ADHD. It allows him to put on a good show, a good presentation, because most of the new mental illnesses, because they've tried, they've covered it's quite hard to tell someone they've got schizophrenia. It's quite hard to tell someone they've got something that affects their life quite negatively. So the newer so-called mental illnesses, your ADHDs, your Tourette's and all that, they're an easier sell. It's easier to push drugs on these people, or if not drugs, certainly social services, counsellors, people who take money from you or the NHS, but essentially it's your money anyway because it's taxes. But to make it an easier sell, there's this element where they're better than you. It comes up all the time. I bet you. I could be wrong, but I bet you. And I know because I've seen it every time these people talk about this nonsense.
I'm Henry.
And today, I'm joining his group.
Are we ready to go and explore some of Soho?
Yeah.
Yep. Fantastic. Should we head off this way? Follow me.
The rain is doing little to dampen Henry's spirit.
I used to live above that. Cafe. That cafe is called Bao Buns. It's on Lexington Street. All right, check it out. Bao Buns, Lexington Street. And I'm doing this because there's a picture where you can see me above the shop in the window on my computer. If I can find it, I mean, that was a long time ago, so I don't know if that one's, you know how the internet works. All the pictures go further back. There's also one with one of my exes sitting in the back window. What a terrible shame I can't find it, because that would be hilarious now. What one's that? Sorry, I know. Yeah, maybe if I put the screen on your side, you'll see that it is that restaurant. Hang on. Now look, it is that place. There. Bao Bun. See the colour of it? See the door at the side? And then we go back to the documentary. That was my front door, just behind that. And the beautiful thing was they caused me so much hassle when they built the place that they used to give me free food whenever I wanted it. And they were lovely, you know, those steamed buns. And like with like chicken, like chili chicken, or there's a cow one. But the best one for a sugar fiend like me is they get Horlicks ice cream. They drop it in the deep fryer in the steamed bun for about probably about 10 seconds, and then they whip it out, and it's just delightful, most delightful. And I used to just be able to walk down my stairs, knock on that door, go, do us two of those chili chicken ones and a couple of those Horlicks ice cream ones. Now that would cost you 40 quid. That was 9 years ago. Well, when did I live there? 8 years ago. 40 quid. They're a tenner a pop, those buns. They're probably 15, 20 now. And that queue opposite my house was Pret-a-Manger. And they all used to queue across the road. And I hated it because they'd all see me in my window. But that's when I'd see people like Nick Cave and that in the queue. And then I'd go out there and hassle them. And I can't listen to Nick Cave anymore because that went so bad. There's an unwritten rule in Soho. You don't hassle celebrities. And I hate it when other people do it. It's the one time I've done it and it backfired so bad. I walked off there thinking, what have you done? I can't listen to Nick Cave anymore. And I loved his music. The album The Boatman's Call is written about a treatment centre that he went to that I also went to. And, you know, I could obviously identify with him. But it would be great if I could. There is a photo where you can actually see me in the window above the restaurant. Bao Bun's Lexington Street shop front. I won't waste too much of your time, but it will be funny. There's one with one of my exes hanging out the window having a snout as well. But if I can't find it on this little pass, we'll call it a day. Oh, they're the buns though. Look at them. They're fucking great. Nah, we'll forget that. But I'll see if I can find it and I'll put it on Telegram or something. But yeah, I lived above that place. It was a lovely flat as well. £2,300 a month though. It was time to move to Cambodia. Fuck me. It was a bedsit. It had a separate bathroom, in fairness. And it was nice, like wood-panelled walls. But 2,300 a month, I just thought, you know, I've loved Soho. I've been here 15, 16 years in that stint. But it's time to go. It was changing too rapidly as well. Well, that was a turnout, wasn't it? Bao Buns. If you go to Soho, go there. It's lovely food. But check the prices first.
This here is the Windmill. And in 1932, Laura Henderson turned it into a cabaret club. Welcome, guys, to not only Ronnie Scott's, but world-famous Ronnie Scott's.
He's confident.
Ronnie Scott's on Frith Street, opposite Bar Italia. I used to be able to get in Ronnie Scott's for nothing. I never paid for a cup of coffee or tea at Bar Italia either. Well, I did in the early days, but I took so many people there that I was it was worth it for them to give me free teas and coffees. So I don't drink coffee because people visit Soho. And every day someone would text me, I'm coming to Soho, and I'd go meet me at Bar Italia. So every day I'd take 3 or 4 people to Bar Italia. 3 or 4 people, 3 or 4 cups of coffee each. That's £100. So it's nothing for them to give me a free cup of fucking tea now and again. Anyway, look at this bloke. Look at this nutter. Look at this man who's part of the mental health crisis. Just getting on with his life, getting on with his job, working. Lives with a mate, probably at uni. Shocking. What are we going to do with him?
And explore some of Soho.
Yeah.
Yep. Fantastic. Should we head off this way? Follow me.
The rain is doing little to dampen Henry's spirits.
This here is the Windmill. And in 1932, Laura Henderson turned it into a cabaret club.
Cabaret's a bit generous for what the windmill's been historically.
Famous Ronnie Scott.
He's confident, witty, and knowledgeable.
This is a fascinating pub, as this is Rock and Roll HQ.
We're hanging on his every word.
Fucking
Thank you so
hell.
much for coming on the tour. Let's go get...
Hang on, did you anyone else clock Samuel Beckett there? Hang on, I've gone well too far back. Look at Samuel Beckett in the crowd.
Witty and knowledgeable.
This is a fascinating pub, as this is Rock and Roll HQ.
We're hanging.
Look at Samuel Beckett on the left. Just in case you don't know what Sammy Beckett looks like, that is him. Right, clock the geezer on the left, yeah? look, look at the same bloke. No way. Today we're going to talk to Jason, who's going to do a tour of Soho with one of the best writers ever, Samuel Beckett. Amazing.
On his every word.
Thank you so much for coming on the tour. Let's go get a beer. Stop it. Thank you very much.
This abundance of energy is
Here we go. Here comes the superpower bit. Here comes the he's better than you bit.
often associated with the hyperactive side of ADHD. And it's wonderful that Henry has found a way to channel it into his work.
Called it. Called it. It's wonderful. This geezer's mental illness, this mental health crisis, it's wonderful how he's managed to have a very cushy job. I know geezers who do that. It's very well paid. It's a DOS of a job. You walk around Soho all day telling people the same thing every day, and you get like 250 quid a pop for it, and you do 3 a day. That ain't bad. Usually cash. But yeah, he channels his into his work. It's wonderful to see his madness and work so well for him. And this is his first example.
That tour was absolutely brilliant. All of the dates, all of the names, all of the anecdotes, delivered with consummate confidence. So good.
That'll be because he's got ADHD. That he didn't say it outright, but that it's implied in that what he just said. I mean, if you do that job, you study it, you learn it, and if you're doing it every day, who wouldn't do it with competence? Who wouldn't know the dates? That's the fucking job. That's like finding a bricklayer, videoing him laying bricks and going, "Did you see that? He laid those bricks, they were straight. He made a wall, and he was confident and calm." Yeah, that's what a job is. That's why you get paid for it. It's not coming across as someone who's got a mental illness.
Good. Anyway, I'm going to nip back in for my pint. Not that I've really got a pint, because I don't drink pints in pubs. I'm only pretending to say that for the programme.
It was weird that he said, "I don't drink pints in pubs." He's got a bottle of vodka stashed in the washing machine. He's one of those secret drinkers. He's an alcoholic. I mean, wouldn't you just say, I don't drink pints in pubs? Or is it maybe saying he can't stay off the pisser? I don't know. That was a weird thing to say.
He's got a bottle of vodka in his handbag.
Yeah, I don't drink pints in pubs. I do the vodka around the back. Anglo says he's grifting. Who's grifting? What, the kid with ADHD? Yeah, they all are. They're all part of the game. It's a great point. Thank you, Anglo, for another 10-bit. Does anyone else want to help me with my grift? It's very generous of Anglo, but I'm leveraging it to get other people to donate. And they have actually, but it tends to be over there on Buy Me a Coffee. I'll just refresh that, see if there's any new ones. No, there isn't. Right, roll on with your nonsense mental illness. Thank you, Anglo. Really, thank
But
you.
what I'm not seeing in Henry are any signs of a struggle.
First one up.
Yeah, me
I
too.
wonder if there are other times in his life when having ADHD isn't quite as helpful.
So it was...
Right, there you go. There you go. That was the end of the superpower bit. Where he said that. Listen. He's got a mental illness, people. And he said, I wonder whether there are times when having ADHD isn't so helpful. What kind of illness is this? When he, it's like Spider-Man, it's probably a bit of a problem for him when he's dating. It's great being Spider-Man when you're, chasing, the Green Goblin or whatever. But when you're dating, it can be a problem because if you're having a little shuffle to get a bit of size on it, you might end up squirting the missus and pinning her up against the wall in a web. I suppose it's much the same as that.
Hello, Chris. How are we doing?
Hello.
Fine.
Come on in. Stuff. Just
Thank
down
you.
the
Where we
stairs,
going?
mate. Yeah,
Down here.
just down the stairs.
Right, now don't forget, both of these people have been diagnosed with a mental health condition. Would you know if you hadn't been told so far? Look at them just living life normally.
I've invited myself round to Henry's flat to
Cheeky
dig
bum.
a little deeper.
Right, then just round the bend.
Got a broad taste in music.
I love music. It's quite a constant in my life. Is it tuna that if they're not swimming, they drown?
Sharks.
Sharks, sorry. I feel like that with music. If I'm moving or I'm doing anything, there's music. It's a soundtrack to the chaos, put it that way.
Can I sit here?
Yes, absolutely, mate. Take a seat.
Okay. Can we be specific about the ADHD and how it manifests in your day-to-day life then?
I think frustration is a huge part of my life because every day is a bit of a kind of task to get through.
Well, the rest of us find every day a piece of piss. It's just nothing. It's like an holiday. When I wake up in the morning, it's like getting in a hammock, smoking a bifter. I've got a top chef making me food. It's not like every day's a task for me. And I'm sure for the rest of the scrubs, every day is just it's like heaven. It's like paradise. But this geezer's got ADHD, so every day's it's a struggle. Ridiculous.
My life. Because every day is a bit of a kind of task to get through it and not to mess up massively.
What is a mess up?
Oh, you forget your keys, you forget your wallet. Being late for work. The amount of times I've missed parties that my friends have organised months in advance for their birthdays. I missed a dissertation meeting at university because I woke up and all I could think about was I wanted breakfast, which is rare for me. I never eat breakfast. Banged up a sausage sarnie, awesome, having an amazing time. Meanwhile, 25 missed calls on my phone and everything going.
Yeah, because you didn't want to go to the dissertation meeting. So you convoluted something to make you late. 25 missed calls on your phone. What you did, you deliberately ignored those. You didn't want to go. You probably hadn't prepared. This is life. Everything he's just said, I with almost 100% certainty, everyone in the chat could have said things like this. I miss parties. Yeah, I miss parties because I don't want to go to them. I tell people I would. Well, I don't anymore. I don't get invited out here, thankfully. But back in England, we're having a party. Yeah, I'll be there. Oh well, I'll be at home shooting gear. Thank you very much. It's just this is an example of the mental health crisis, and it's just life. Remember this line: psychiatry takes normal life problems and turns them into psychiatric anomalies.
Mental. The night before I went to bed, I was like, I've got my dissertation meeting tomorrow. I knew it was in my head, but it just didn't break the surface in the morning until it was too late and I missed it. I hated myself for that. I was so upset by it. I have no control over it, it seems. I just see everyone else around
It seems, yeah, that was a very telling little caveat.
me flying along and doing everything.
What do you mean flying along?
I feel like I'm floundering a little bit.
In the sense that what? You're not as...
Right, hang on. The idea of flying along is doing something at speed, isn't it? That's what that conjures up. I'm flying along. I'm writing a new novel. I'm absolutely flying. Packham knows he needs to fucking get something out of this. So, all right, let's try and dig into that. And then he says, I'm floundering. Now listen to these two sentences. My new novel, I'm absolutely flying along. I'm flying along, right? This sentence. This new novel, I'm floundering. I'm floundering with it. They're almost opposite things because there's no truth here. There's no truth for this conversation to settle on. And again, once you've seen it, you can't not see it.
Successful.
This is propaganda.
At managing your life or your career or...
All of the above.
Hang on, I missed that bit. Well, you did because I was talking.
Oh.
I feel like I'm floundering a little bit.
In the sense that what? You're not as successful at managing your life or your career or...
All of the above.
Packham fed him the answer. In what sense? And then he told him the answer. And the geezer went, yeah, all of the above. Who in the chat has ever thought that they're not doing as well as they could in their life? Who here has spent their life thinking everything's going great? Everything's great. No, that's not the default position in life. The default position in life is, fuck me, I'm not doing enough. You know, the default position is, fuck, I've let that go for so long. I really should be doing more of that, you know. Or I've got to get on with this. That's actually the default. Those moments where you're like, this is fucking brilliant. I feel great. Everything's sweet. They do happen, but they're rare. Happiness isn't our default. Happiness is a treat you get occasionally for when you put the work in. But because the narrative in our culture now, through TikTok, through YouTube, through social media, through the internet, is, you know, everyone's lives are excellent. You know, look on Instagram, just beautiful people living wonderful lives on yachts with like supermodels and all this, you know. And you're sitting there in your little concrete suburban rabbit hutch, like having another bowl of cereal out of the plate that you didn't even clean, from where the Weetabix has almost welded into the plate from because you didn't wash up the last one 6 months ago. And you'll look, you know, that is, we have that kind of feeling that we're less than. Not all the time, but it comes up occasionally. But because this bloke has been diagnosed, it's a mental illness.
This is a very different Henry from the self-assured man I met on the tour.
Wow, he's got different moods in different situations. He must be crazy.
Many people with ADHD speak about having difficulty with everyday tasks.
Many people speak about having, you know, Jesus. I can't keep saying it. I won't. You know, it's the transparency is there now.
Remembering appointments, getting out of the house, sorting the laundry.
Trying to find my coat.
I mean, when I left home at 16 and where I lived, I mean, my clothes, well, apart from the fact I wore the same clothes for like 4 years, the other clothes that I did have, they were washed and ironed and folded and arranged very neatly in drawers. I mean, my bedroom was just, it would look like a show home. I mean, this geezer, look, he's a student. He's got some dirty clothes on the floor. Get him to a doctor immediately. This is unacceptable. Give him amphetamines, because that bedroom will be fucking spick-span by morning, I'll tell you that. He'll even hoover his neighbour's house.
20p if you need it.
These are all things that all of us struggle with now and again.
Right.
But for Henry, they dominate his life.
So when he's out with his really cush job walking around Soho telling stories for 600, 700 quid a day cash, I didn't, you said that he was using it wonderfully. His ADHD was wonderful, you said then. I didn't notice anything in the boozer. What, are you lying to me, Packham? Are you lying to yourself? Not ill, thick as mince. Well, I wouldn't say that, but in this case, I'll let you. Thank you, Anglo. Very generous again, but thank you, mate. Spanish says, "Have you won the polls, Anglo?" I'll tell you what happened. Anglo has always been very generous to this channel, as have a lot of people, including you, Spanish. But he lost his job, I think, about a year ago. I'm sorry if it was longer than that, Anglo. And of course, when you're unemployed, the last thing you're going to be doing is donating to a YouTuber. I fully understood that. But then I think it was the Christmas stream, I think he gave me about 100 quid, might have been more. And I said to him, "Are you pissed?" I said, "I don't want you to wake up and regret it." Something like that. He said, "No, I've got employment and I had a 40% rise." So that's the story. He hasn't, the pools, Spanish is showing your age there. In my novel, you say. Oi, listen, I won't mention it again. If you're thinking of buying it, if you're going to buy it, you just haven't got round to it because you're mental and you've got ADHD, buy it today. And I'll tell you why. I'm not shilling it. If you've already decided you're going to buy it, but you haven't, buy it today. Because if 5 or 6 of you buy that novel today, that spike will give me about 500% more visibility than I've got currently. It's weird how Amazon works. I've been putting in so much work with this. If I was to sell 20 novels over a week, it wouldn't give me as much visibility and long tail visibility in the ecosystem as selling 10 in a day would. It's really odd that, but you can understand that, can't you? So I'd get more long tail, long-term visibility selling 10 in a day than I would selling 20 in a week. So if you've already made the decision to buy it, if you could do it today, that would be amazing. If you don't want to or can't or whatever, that's absolutely fine. You might not like reading, you might not like me, you might not like the idea of the book. The link's in the chat. It's also in the description. Anyway, where were we? I mean, there's not much more I can take of this, to be honest with you, but we'll give it a little bit more. How long have I been going for? 2 hours. I will have a little bit more. I mean, it is 2 o'clock in the morning. We can do a bit more.
I've asked him to show me the part of his flat he's most embarrassed about. His bedroom.
I always wanted to hide it.
There's no way he's showing Chris Packham and the BBC the part of his bedroom he's most embarrassed about, because that magazine of bodybuilders that he's got busy with a felt tip pen and drawn massive cocks on them that he's got under his mattress, that ain't coming out.
Not let anyone really see it. I think my mum would pass out if she sees this.
You've got obviously a well-ordered floor drobe going on there, haven't you? Yeah.
I mean, it's a loose system.
Right, listen, I'm not being funny. When I was at my 3rd art school, there was 12 of us living in a house with 4 bedrooms. It was a shithole. It got so bad because people just didn't wash up. And every week it'd be right, we've all got to sit down. Look, once you've used a plate and a knife and a fork, wash it immediately. And like 1 hour later, that plan's already gone out the window because everyone's off their heads. No one's thinking about washing up. And in the end, what we done, every week at the start of the week, 2 or 3 of us would go into town, go to Oxfam or a similar thrift store and buy 2 boxes of knives, forks, spoons, mugs, plates, bowls, for like a tenner in those days, like 2 or 3 boxes, because there was 12 of us there. Bring them home, disposable cutlery. You'd use it, and then we just throw it in the bin. We've done it all for the rest of the whole term at college. I mean, that is bed. That looks fake to me. This looks fake to me. It's not. It's nowhere near as filthy as it should be. Admittedly, there was 12 of us in our house, but the fact that carpet's even clean, it was. Our house was a shithole. And we were art students, so it is slightly different. You're tripping all the time, and But again, he already said that they gave him amphetamines for this problem, and so far, all we've seen is he's got clothes on the floor of his student house. That's your mental health crisis right there, people. So when you hear people on the dissident right use the mental health crisis as an example of how bad things are going, call them on it. Because even a geezer with the top directors, the best lighting, the best, all that, even all that, and all the money and, resources that the BBC have got, so far, this geezer who's got this mental illness has got an excellent job, performs it very well, he's studying at university, and he's got some clothes on the floor. And they've actually already tried giving him dexamphetamine or some similar stimulant. It's just pathetic. There's no intellectual rigor. There's no intellectual maturity. There's no real discourse. This doesn't show me the whole mental health farce. The whole farce of psychiatry doesn't instill me with faith. And this kind of propaganda, I almost feel sorry for Chris Packham, because he's bought the narrative of the mental health crisis. But when it comes to actually showing you, giving you examples, he could have gone, he could have picked anyone out of the whole country who's got ADHD, and this is all he could get. The bloke's got some dirty clothes on the floor of his student bedroom. What? That's it. That's what you managed to get. Some crisis.
Then this is kind of the clothes that I'm not sure if I can wear again, and haven't the stomach to check.
Right.
And then dirty stuff. Got the jumpers over there. It's my coffee machine without a water tank.
So is it broken?
It's broken. Yeah.
So how long has it been there not working?
How long have I lived here? 9 months.
9 months?
9 months, yeah. And it's frustrating because to the outside world, you just think, what a lazy goose. Like, what are you doing?
It's not.
No, to the outside world, it's just a student bedroom, and actually a very relatively clean and tidy. Actually, the kids some of the students in our 12 hours didn't even have beds. It's just what are you talking about?
Not laziness, though, is it? It's not that you can't be bothered to do it.
No. It feels like a tombola, right? Where every day there's a million things in this tombola ball, right, that need to be done.
Right, and this is what they say to drug users. You know the story I've told you a million times about that kid, 18 he was, sucker punched his grandmother, who took him in after his parents chucked him out, sucker punched her in the kitchen. She goes down out cold. He takes off her wedding and engagement ring, ripping skin off her finger on the way, sells the pair of them for a tenner. I mean, the gold weight itself would have given you more than that, but it was quicker to sell it to someone than walk the extra 4 minutes to cash converters. And I'm sitting in a group therapy room, and the therapist says to him, "You're not a bad person. This is what addiction makes us do." She's given him an excuse that he will use for the rest of his life to carry on robbing, hurting, and using. And I called it out. I said, bollocks. I said, you're an arsehole. Well, I dropped the C-bomb. I said, and if you keep telling him that, he's going to carry on doing it because, it's not me, Mum, it's not me, Nan, I've got the disease of addiction. And they give you pamphlets. They give you pamphlets to give your parents. Don't judge your child negatively. Although he might cause problems around the house and get in trouble with the law, but he's got the disease of addiction. You wouldn't be angry with someone who's got cancer. Literally, that's a sort of fucking propaganda they give to drug users, people who want to use drugs and not work and steal, to give to their families. I'm off the hook here. Sorry that I nicked your wages yesterday, Mum, and we can't eat for a week. I mean, I'll be all right. I'll eat around my mate's house. I'll go and nick something from Safeways. But it's not me. I've got the disease of addiction. I mean, there's nothing in my brain to show that. It's the mental illness. It's my mind, which would sort of suggest it's actually me in the way I choose to behave. But because people want to push drugs on the population, there's this narrative that I've got the disease of addiction. It's bullshit. And that's what he's that's exactly what he's doing here. He just said to him, "You're not lazy, are you?" No, he's not. He's doing a degree. He's got a job. But no 18-year-old wants to do their washing. And the reason he hasn't thrown that coffee machine away is he probably wants to try and fix it and get his coffee machine working again. This is nothing. This is absolutely nothing. Alan drops a 10 spot. Boom. Hoit to you, Alan. Hope you're well, mate. Lovely to see you. I don't know if you're at the start or you joining us. I don't know how it works. I just forgot our time worked then. But lovely to see you, Alan. Thanks for the donation. Actually, I'm going to have to give the outro to Anglo, because he's donated a lot on this tree. I was about to give you Mandon, but I think I'm going to have to give this one to Anglo next time. Nice to see you anyway, mate. As always, hoit to Alan. So I just saw a comment that made a load of sense. I wish I could show you. Where is it? No, I'm with you, John. He seems like you know what he seems like to me, like a nice bloke. That's it. And that's why I despise this stuff, because they've told him he's got a mental illness. They tried to give him speed. Thankfully and luckily, he didn't bite, and he turned that down, because you get on that road, it's very hard to get off it. But it will affect him negatively, in relationships and that. He'll be saying to girls or boys, girls or boys, he'll be saying, I've got a mental illness, I've got ADHD. And that will then intrude on their relationship until that relationship inevitably splits up. Because, when he turns up late for something, he'll say to her, it's not me, it's my disease. I've got ADHD. I'm sorry I'm 2 hours late and you've been standing in the dark in the middle of Soho for 2 hours on your own. But I've got ADHD, and she's got to take that. And then one day she's going to be like, no, you don't. Do you know what I mean? It will interfere with. And there might come a time where she'll be like, I love him and I like him, but do I want to spend the rest of my life with someone who's got a mental health problem? And I've read about mental health problems. I've seen a lot of people with mental health problems end up killing their parents or doing crazy things. So I'm gonna step back from this one. Whereas if you remove the diagnosis and he's just got those behaviours which show who he is, there's no space for that diagnosis to cause problems. If he's 2 hours late, she says to him, listen, once or twice, okay, but if you're late like this again, I'm leaving you, because it's it's not the kind of partner I want in my life. And so if he is late again, she finishes with him, and that's life. But it'll be like, how can you leave me because I've got a disease? Would you abandon me? Would you abandon me if I got chicken pox? It's ridiculous. But there was another thing. Average Joe, hello mate. Average Joe, OG scrub. Average Joe was a subscriber to this channel when I had about 30 subscribers. Still here. I think Average Joe and Short Bus Mooner are two of the original OGs that are still here. I rented an house from Smackheads. That was weird, yeah. Yeah, I can see it. Yeah. I bet you didn't again. I bet that was a one-off, wasn't it? I bet you thought, right, I'm going to draw a line under that one. I'm still looking for this. Martin says, I bet Chris had Paul mags all over the house. That police house it was, where 12 of us were living, there was porn everywhere, yeah. Yeah, there was. There's no explaining that procrastination. Almost nothing worse than stacks of dirty dishes, especially when there's 12 of you. So yeah, we just bought disposable cutlery. Hang on a minute, what's going on here? Alan's dropped a bullseye and said, how about now? And then Anglo's come back with a 10-bit. Get in, Alan. Now, unfortunately, right, listen, this is weird, man. I don't know about this. Anglos are still ahead, Alan. But I don't want to do all. This is not me. I know I play at the grift, but this is not me. Packer, what do we play on the outro? We play Cold Hard Steel. I'll tell you what. I'll put it to the chat. Thank you, Alan. That's very kind. But
I'll put it in the chat then.
I don't know. Can we do a poll? Can I do a poll? Let me see if I can do a poll. Can you do a poll on? Can you do a poll on YouTube? I think you can, can't you? I can't make that decision because someone's going to lose out, and that's not fair. And I don't want to be the person responsible for that. Sorry, people. I've got ADHD. I'm not equipped for this kind of madness. Right. How do I do a poll? No. Goal? Every poll's a goal. Anglo says both. There you go. I'll play both. That's the answer. I'll do Man Dom and then Cold Hard Steel. Fair play. Hang on. Where's that one? Thank you, Arklow. Arklow said I can't compete with the eye rollers. Oi, Arklow. Very interesting conversation we're having there over on X. If you're interested in that, me and Arklow are talking essentially like me and Mousecat have been recently, and Mousecat's just run with it. It's incredible. Essentially Derridian linguistics, post-structural linguistics. And like I say, Mousecat's just run with it. He's meant to be learning another language. I can't tell you why, but I've probably you can probably guess. But he's not. He's reading Jacques Derrida, and clearly is, because big emails, understanding it, mind blown. But Arklow over the last few days, I put a couple of Derridian sort of points out. I don't even like the term Derridian, to be honest with you. And Arklow sort of bit, not in a negative way, but we've sort of gone back and forth. What I would suggest, if you're interested in this, Arklow, you can get it on the internet for free. Just download a PDF. It's the introduction. It's not even Derrida's writing. It's the introduction to a book called Of Grammatology. And it's written by a real horrible feminist leftist called Gayatri Spivak. But it's a fantastic introduction to the work of Jacques Derrida. It really is. Also, I mean, you can come back to this. I'll give you a quick timestamp. Well, I can't. For some reason, it won't do it. But also, then, there's a book by Jacques Derrida called Limited Ink. You need to buy the version that's got signature event context in the same book. Most of them have, but there's the odd one that's just limited ink. Signature event context was a lecture that Derrida gave in America in the 60s or early 70s, probably about 68, I think. And it pulled the rug out from under the American speech act theory crowd, which is Austin and his prodigy, John R. Searle. And John R. Searle, all those American speech act linguists were sitting there just thinking, how dare he? How dare this man pull the rug out from under our life's work? But not only their life's work, Socrates' life's work as well, and Plato's, and the entire Western metaphysical canon. And he did. And so John R. Searle, who, like, Austin's long dead by this time, he thought, I've got to nip this one in the bud, or we're all fucked. We're all out of a job. Contemporary linguistics is over. This horrible Albanian fella, he's naturalised French in the end, but he's from Algeria, sorry, has ruined it for everyone. And he really did. He pulled the rug out of Western metaphysics and how meaning is created. And so he writes this paper attacking Derrida. And Derrida writes this book called Limited Ink. And it's a reply to John R. Searle. And John R. Searle says Derrida's not specific enough. He talks all poetically. I mean, Derrida in another book says, where does philosophy end and poetry start? Where's that? What? Why have we got these weird categories that separate things? You telling me you haven't read philosophy that's poetic? It's crazy. And so Derrida does a reading of John R. Searle's paper where he looks at every single word, sentence, paragraph that John R. Searle wrote. And it's the intellectual rigor and maturity of Derrida is so far beyond John R. Searle. It's like Derrida's like making a flambeing some crepes in his left hand, and he's just sort of swatting away this annoying mosquito called John R. Searle. And he does it with humour as well. And when you're reading it, you start feeling sorry for John R. Searle, because Derrida's magic is the way the object of analysis dictates the method of analysis. So effectively, John R. Searle destroys himself. And for a book of philosophy, linguistic philosophy, to be funny takes quite the doing. But he really does. So Arklow, if you're interested, the introduction to Of Grammatology by Gayatri Spivak, and then Limited Ink with signature event context in it. It will blow your mind and it will change your life forever. And here's the weird thing about Derrida. Noam Chomsky said it was just rubbish. It was nonsense. He described it as nonsense. Not that it was wrong, that it just didn't make sense. It's just airy-fairy rubbish. And yet later he went on to try and call him out. Or it's either nonsense or there's arguments in there. It can't be both. But what contemporary Western metaphysics in the linguistic realm anyway, they've just ignored Derrida. They've ignored him because they know that they had two choices: go adopt the ideas that Derrida had proposed, understand what they mean for linguistics, for meaning, for reading and writing, or, and if you do that, your whole life's work is obsolete and redundant. That's what someone with real balls does, admits that they've been wrong for 30 years. I'd love that. And it happened to me. I used to be a communist. And I one day was like, whoa. And I love being wrong. Being wrong is when you grow. If you're right all the time, you're just staying stagnant. But even when I think about 30 of the world's most renowned linguistic philosophers, they got like a, what do you call it, Packer, when like they all signed a thing? What are they called, those things?
Contract?
No, like...
Well, you need to check your copy, Chris.
I will do. It's one of those things where they all signed this document to say that Derrida was like rubbish and nonsense, and we're not taking him on board. We're just ignoring it. And it's so funny. Like, and these are like Nobel Prize winners. They're like, top people at like Harvard and Yale, top lecturers, tenured lecturers. And they all got together and said, well, maybe if we all sign a bit of paper and say that we're just going to ignore him. And Derrida didn't give a shit because he knew he was right. And here's the weird thing. This gets complicated unless you know about it. So I'll just stop there because we've gone well off of piste. But there you go, Arklow. If you want more, Intro to Grammatology, and Limited Ink with signature event context in it. Zeitgeist has dropped $14.99 Aussie dollars in. What about 42's Anglo-Saxon poem? Well, we had that on Christmas Day, but you're complicating things now, Zeitgeist. We've got two. We'll stick with them. I will play 42's song again another time, but it's 2:00 in the morning here. Dottie has bought me a coffee. Look, Anglo has spent a tenner telling me someone else has donated. I'm all shocked. You're very kind of you. Let me refresh that. Thank you, Anglo, for telling me that. All the people who've donated on Buy Me a Coffee, you'll be getting your video replies tomorrow because my missus is asleep. John Palmer bought me a future. Packer, can you see that on the screen? Oh, we've got frozen. We've frozen, haven't we? Oh, no, we haven't. Packer, can you see that? Yeah. So John Palmer says, tell us the story of how it went bad that time you hassled us. What, the Nick Cave one? All right, that'll be my outro. I'll do that in a minute. It's so embarrassing. Probably not as bad as you think, but for me, it was awful. Thank you, John, for that donation. Dottie. Thank you, Dottie. Can't stay. Oh, I hope you're here to see this. Can't stay, Chris. Lovely to see you and Packer. All the best, Scrubs. Thank you, Anglo, for my ducks last night. So, well, I know that's Dave's Waffle House's racing ducks, but if you didn't know that, you could have thought it was some kind of rhyming slang. But there you go. Dottie. Oh, now I know why Anglo let me know. That's amazing. We come full circle there. Thank you, Dottie. Thank you, Anglo. Thank you, Zeitgeist. Thank you, Anglo. Thank you, Arklow. Thank you, Alan. Right, listen, this Chris Packham thing. We don't need to watch any more of it. This is just going round and round in circles. I'll put a link to it in the chat if you're interested in this. There is a mental health crisis, but it's the one I'm telling you about. The fact that there isn't one, but it's not this one. And again, I'm not saying people don't suffer. I'm not saying if you've got people in your family that have been diagnosed with schizophrenia, they're not suffering. I would never say that. I'm actually trying to be part of a movement that helps those people, believe it or not. I know that sounds odd, but I don't do this for the fun of it. I do it because it's important. Because they're treated really badly as well. They're treated really badly. You take someone to a psych ward, oh yeah, we'll look after him. Some of the stories I've heard, and I've been in them. There was I put a link in the chat to the rest of that document, well, the whole documentary. I think I told you this, but a psychiatrist who's part of the anti-psychiatry movement, but I don't really like that phrase because it's not anti-psychiatry. It just wants psychiatry to be something that's of use and value rather than being a machine that pushes drugs on people and diagnoses them with something they haven't got or couldn't have anyway. This geezer, he got a load of people who had no mental health diagnosis and said to them, go to psych wards. I think there was about 30 of them, or it might have been 60, we'll say 50. He said, go to mental hospitals, tell them you're hearing voices. And there was only two things they could say. It was something like a voice saying something like, it was something like start again or something. It was something really sort of innocuous. It wasn't like kill or sort of like anything. It was, something really innocuous, like start again or, later. That's all. That was their only symptom. And once, if they got into that mental health, it's psych ward based on just that, just them turning up one day and saying, I keep hearing a voice saying, I'll do it later or something like that. But trust me, it was innocuous. Once you're in there, if they let you in and give you a bed and you're now a mental patient in a psych ward, spend the rest of your time trying to get out and take notes of your time in there. They want you to, so that they had some kind of documentation afterwards of what it was like not being mental in a mental home. All of them successfully got into the mental home. All of them said to the people, the only one thing they couldn't say was this is a setup. But they could and did every day go up to the nurse and say, there's nothing wrong with me. I haven't got any problems. My life's fine. And they wouldn't let them out. They kept them in there. It's amazing. Let me see if I can find it. I'll give you a link. Hang on. AI is probably the best one for this. Hello, Mush. Recently, a psychiatrist done some kind of test where he got about 30 or 40 people and told them to go to mental hospitals, say they were hearing voices, but it was only like 1 or 2 words, see if they could get admitted to the madhouse, and then it was their job to try and get out of the madhouse, but the madhouses wouldn't let them out. It was like an experiment to see whether psych wards would keep people in who weren't mad and told them they weren't mad. Can you give me some details so I can look it up online?
Absolutely, Mush. You're talking about the Rosenhan experiment. That's the one. In the early 1970s, a psychologist named David Rosenhan ran this exact study. He and a bunch of volunteers, the so-called pseudo-patients, went to psychiatric hospitals and claimed they were hearing vague auditory hallucinations, just simple words like MD or thud. The twist, once they were admitted, they acted completely normal and said they were fine. The experiment was about how long.
Right, I don't know if you could hear that, but I got enough information to get you the wiki link. So it was called the Rosenhahn experiment, and I've just put the link into the chat. Give it a read. It's a nice way of ending this whole mental health crisis thing. It was in the 70s. It's strange that some of you can hear that and some of you can't. Could any of you hear that voice then?
I could hear it that time.
Oh, okay. Could anyone else hear that? Yeah, exactly, Alfie. Like a real life one flew over the cuckoo's nest. Yeah. Oh, you could hear it. That's amazing. I should have let it play through then. I thought, hang on. Oi, Mush. I'm sorry I interrupted you then. Can you explain what? Hang on. Hello, Mush. I accidentally interrupted you. Could you explain the Rosenhahn experiment again, including the twist, please?
Of course, Mush. No worries at all. Let's run that down again. So, the Rosenhan experiment was done in the early 1970s by a psychologist named David Rosenhan. It's pretty famous in the world of psychiatry. What Rosenhan did was get a group of perfectly healthy people, about 8 participants in the original study, to present themselves at various psychiatric hospitals. They all claimed they were hearing voices, but these voices only said things like empty, hollow, or thud. That's it, just a couple of vague words. Now here's the twist. Once they were admitted to these psychiatric wards, they stopped showing any symptoms and acted completely normal. They told the staff that they felt fine and didn't have any more hallucinations. But despite that, they found it incredibly hard to get out of the hospital. Staff interpreted their normal behavior as part of their mental illness. Basically, once they were labeled as patients, everything they did was seen through that lens. Rosenhan's study was a major critique of psychiatric diagnosis and how easily labels can stick. It showed how difficult it was for these same people to be recognized as sane once they were inside the system. So if you look up the Rosenhan experiment, you'll find all the details and can dive deeper into that whole fascinating and pretty unsettling study.
Cheers, Mush.
You're welcome, Mush. Always here to dish out the facts. If you need anything else, just shout.
Who's going to win the Premier League?
Well, Mush, I'll give it to you straight. I don't have a crystal ball for football, but if you're asking for an honest take, it's going to depend on current form, injuries, and that brutal schedule pileup in the last stretch of the season. If Arsenal's your side, and I know they are, let's just say they've got as good a shot as anyone.
No, that's not what I wanted you to say. I wanted you to say that they're going to win. Yeah, there you go, people. The Rosenhahn experiment. Absolute madness. Even when they were in there and they said they've got no symptoms, they couldn't get out. But it's very serious. Why couldn't they? Because they wanted the money. If you've got patients, you can claim funding. That is how sinister and horrible this whole thing is. They were happy to keep perfectly sane people in a psych ward for the money. They get more funding. Oh, this year we've had, X% more people come in, so we need more money from the taxpayers. And at what point would they start treating them against their will? At what point when someone said, well, I'm just leaving, they said, no, quick, get a straitjacket on him, sedate him. There you go. It's a horror show, essentially. I hope you've enjoyed the stream, people. Anglo says, can you plug 42? Of course I can. 22, 10:30 UK time, 42 is streaming. And he says, ask him to monetize his channel. I asked 42 to monetize his channel, and he says he won't do it for reasons he won't say. But what he did say, and this isn't a lie, if he's still in the chat, he'll tell you himself. He said, if you want to donate to me, he said, give it to Chris instead. Which you have, in fairness. But he did. If you're still here, 42, don't make that look like me grift lying. But 42 is streaming at 10:30, 22:30 hours UK time, which I imagine isn't too long now. I don't know. I'm sort of been talking for 2.5 hours. Well, nearly 3 hours now. Thank you, Anglo. Very generous. But he won't. He's got some kind of ethical reason that he doesn't want to go into about why he doesn't take donations on her channel. And I admire him for that. There you go. He's there. Willow says, have you had ChatGPT talk dirty to you? No. I've got a girlfriend who does that all day long. And Spanish Chicken said, spot on. That's what he said. He did say that. He did. Hello, Willow. How are you, son? Oh, it was you that said that. I couldn't do it. I mean, I'm too friendly with it anyway, you know. I don't want to start getting sexy with it. Oh, dear. I mean, if it was like a proper functioning robot that I couldn't tell that, oh, man, I hope I live long enough for Joe Guest Dole. Please. I'll tell you what, if anything will keep me alive, they'll diagnose me with some terminal illness and there'll be this advert come on, you know, like proper living Dole, your perfect specs, whatever you want, can't tell the difference between it and a human apart from the fact that you can turn it off when you've had enough. I'll tell you what, I'll fight and beat that disease until that thing arrives at my house. And then you're lying if you wouldn't as well. Fuck you. Of course you fucking would. Every geezer would. Of course you would. Or any bird on the planet, you could have it essentially duplicated. Oh, no, yeah, sure you wouldn't, you lying bastards. A bum fanny, I mean, that's a different matter. That's, no. But can you imagine having, like, giant guests just strolling in now? Hello. Oh, yeah. Sorry about that. Right, we've got... Oh, yeah, tell the story. Well, I'll keep it brief because I think some people have heard it before. Right. So I'm sitting above Bao Buns. There is an unspoken rule in Soho because it's where celebrities go. It's the media centre of the UK. And you see them all the time, all day long. When I tell people about I've met 5 Doctor Who's and all this sort of stuff, it's only because I lived there. It's not because I was famous, although I was quite famous for a while when I was a comedian. Anyway, listen to my nose. That's what you get. It's 22 here at the moment. Look, I've actually got socks on. I know I showed you at the start, but not everyone else is here. That's the first time in nearly 8 years I've had to wear socks in Cambodia. I mean, I wear them when I put my boots or shoes on. I go out. Anyway, and like I say, the queue, Bao Buns always had a massive queue, but they couldn't queue up outside Bao Buns because there was loads of other cafes there and like juice shops and that. So they queued up across the road down the side of Pret a Manger, where Pret a Manger didn't have a window. It was all blacked out like an adverts and that. And so they come to some arrangement. So I would be at my computer. If you really give a shit, search Bao Buns Lexington Street. There is one photo. There's 2. There's one with one of my exes with her head out the window smoking a snout. And there's one where you can see me profile on my computer where I used to stream from in that house. So I'd always have like 30, 40 people looking at me. I could close the curtain, but I didn't really care. You know, I wasn't sitting there picking my nose or tossing off or anything. I was just typing or working, whatever. And anyway, one day I see Nick Cave. I love Nick Cave. Absolutely loved. Past tense. Oh, this is hideous. John, this might let you down, but you're going to have to put yourself in my position to understand why it's so cringe. I thought I've got to do it. It's Nick Cave. I thought we've also got something in common. He went to Focus 12. That's where I met Chip, who's still my NA sponsor. And he stayed with me even though I barely had a minute clean. And he's a great bloke. And The Boatman's Call, that album, which is, I think, Nick Cave's best album, is all about that time where he was at Focus 12 in Bury St Edmunds. You'll hear songs, you'll hear lyrics in it where he talks about the Serenity Prayer and in a colonial hotel, and that's the big hotel down at the bottom of Bury St Edmunds, just before the park. And I hear things in that album, and I know exactly where and what he's talking about, and he talks about the treatment centre, but sort of encrypted. And I thought, it won't, he's waiting in line. It's not like he's got anything better to do. I'm convincing myself. I'm like, he'll probably enjoy a chat. So I put a shirt on, put a nice pair of trousers on, quick bit of polish on the old shoes. I dress up a bit. And I walk down there. I just cross the road. And he's about 7 foot tall, Nick Cave. He's an absolute giant. I mean, I'm 6'2", 6'3" with my heels. And I said, Nick Cave? And he went, I said, can I? And I was about to say, take a photo. And he went, I'm here with my child. And I didn't clock that. And there's a kid there of about 11. And I sort of went, oh, hello, mate. And it's already going really wrong. I'm already thinking, oh, you fucker. And then I said to him, in front of his 11-year-old child and all the other people in the queue, I went, because I thought this was my, what would you call it? This was my way in front of his kid and loads of other people. I went to the same rehab as you. And he went like this. He went, as if, it was the facial expression of, really? You really just said that? And I thought, rather than just go, actually, this is fucking nuts. Sorry, and just, go. I went Focus 12 up in Bury. I said, you sing about it. I'm like a right fanboy. I've never done that. That's how I managed to pull Joe Guest, because I didn't give it that. I've looked at pictures of you since I was 8 years old. I just play it cool. And it was the opposite. It was the worst I've ever been in my life. I think it's fair to say. I felt hideous. And I had all this sort of adrenaline, and I went, yeah, I said, I still talk to Chip. He told me he remembered you, and he was going, you know what I said about having my son with me? And I went, yeah. And I just thought, and I should have gone. And then I said to him, can I get a photo? He went, not really. He said, I'm out with my son for the day. And as he's saying that, I'm going like this, like framing it up. And he was like, and I took a photo after he said, not really, I'm out with my son for the day. And I went, anyway, nice to meet you. By this point, I'm just broken. I'm a broken man. I can't believe what I've just done. And as I walk across the road, I surprised myself at how, I was starstruck. But I'd been around people that I liked more than Nick Cave I'd never been starstruck. Never. And when I got back in my room, I was just going, and I looked at the photo, and I was going, and he was going, and there was a couple of people behind sort of going, and I just deleted it. I deleted it. Then I went to the deleted photos and deleted it. And I've not listened to Nick Cave since. I tried. A few weeks after it, I tried. And as soon as I heard it, it just brought back that feeling of me being... I mean, this might not be coming across as bad as it felt, but it was awful. It was the cringiest thing I've ever done. I feel like I let you down a bit, John, but it was horrible. The geezer was out of his fucking kid. I went to the same drug rehab as you. You're still on the smack. Yeah. 42 dropped a Lady Godiva. I help too many people with nothing to accept donations. However, please donate to Chris instead. I told you. See, I told you. That's very kind of you, 42. Yeah, he is. He's great. And he's streaming. What time is it in the UK, Packer?
Right now, it's 7:45.
Oh, you've got plenty of time. Well, look, I'm going to go now. Give you a bit of time. Thank you, 42, for that. Appreciated. I'm just going to check. Oh, what have I done? Have I closed that down? Oh, it's gone all crazy since you got me talking about Nick Cave, John Palmer. Right, that's right. We've done all the back. I was just about to say we've done all the Back to the Futures then. I can close our ADHD minds. I forgot to put that this was live on Twitter. I'll post that now. I had it set up, but I forgot to press post. I can close that down. Right. So, where are we? Music time. I will be putting your comments on the screen. Don't forget 42 is streaming on his channel. I will put his channel link in the chat while the music's playing. We're getting 2 songs tonight. Let me just pause that there. Pop that over there. Make that full size. Right, listen. I'll let you go, Packer. We'll have a little debriefing after, if you want.
Righto, mate. Can I just say, amongst all the idiots that Nick Cave has ever met, you'll probably don't stand out at all. Don't worry about it.
That's very kind of you, but it still hurts, man. It still hurts. It was so out of character. You know, I'd lived there for like, and and it's ruined Nick Cave for me. I tried to watch an interview of him the other day, and I just went, hey, I went to the same rehab as you. Can I take a photo? No. Yeah, all right, smile. Oh, fucking hell. Look, you tried to help me and you brought it back. I know it's on me, but I'll see you in a bit, Packer. Show Packer some love in the chat, people. He's excellent. I'll tell you what, this was a real rush to get. It was meant to be earlier than it was. Look how bad the green screen is. What have I really? Have I had my ready brick? Look at me up. It's too much cheap crack in the 80s. I want to thank everyone who donated on Buy Me a Coffee and Super Chats and all the memberships. I'm a full-time YouTuber and writer now, so it means the world to me. It really does. I want to thank Packer, of course, because when he's not here, I don't enjoy it as much, and I don't think you do. I don't know why. He's great. So that's the donations and the and Packer, and most of all, as always, all of you lot. We had 120 people here at some point. And we're now down to 80 because it's fizzling out and people have been here for nearly 3 hours. If you've already decided to buy my novel, look at that! Oh damn, that's the real novel cover. Hey, hang on. Oh, can't do it. Well, can't do it now. Anyway, yeah, if I could get a spike today, that would be really helpful. So if you've already decided to get it, link in the description. It's called that, or you can just search my name. This is all going very wrong. Look at that. Why can't I get it to go wrong when I want it to? Anyway, I'm gibbering now because I'm all out of words. I want to thank everyone who comes here. Much appreciated. There will be more standalone videos, but I've just been really busy with the continual promo of the novel. I'm having to upload shorts and TikTok every day. And there's loads of other things I'm doing. I'll be promoting this for the whole year. There we go. Look at that. Look. You can see through the whole book. Amazing. Wow. I'm probably going to release a collection of Substack stories. There's a new Substack coming out soon. There's Me and My Mum. If you haven't read that, it's a 5-minute read. Great story. Loads of comments already. But the new one is one of my favourite bits of writing I've ever done, because I'm all encouraged at the moment, and it's just like, I'm floundering, should we say. Hang on a minute. Lartus has been on the firm for 60 months. No, you haven't. You've been around here longer than that. Thank you, Lartus. Machano Capriccionata Tutu. Right, I will get rid of my boat and we'll play a couple of tunes. If this tune goes a bit wrong halfway through, that's because I'm trying to find Mumford's one while I'm playing this one, but it should be right. How do I get rid of my head? Ta-da!
All the world loves a lover. All the girls in every land are meant to know. The joy of loving is to live in the world of mankind. There's someone who's waiting for you. Soon the world will be yours for a time. Music starts to play, night will turn to day. Darkness disappears when the one you love is near. You're in mankind. All the world loves the lovers, all the girls in every land are meant to know. Joy of loving is to live in the world of mankind. There's a place that is waiting for you, a world where the best in life is free, where time is always spring, happiness is king. The dreams you dream come true when the one you love loves you. You're in mankind. All the world loves a lover, all the girls in every land are meant to know. Joy of loving is to live in the world of mankind.
I don't know what to say. Might be a good thing. Well, thank you for trying again anyway. That's amazing. Buy me a coffee. Listen, we've got a bit of a problem here. Before I tell you the problem, I know there's only 57 people left. That song there, if you've never heard that song, I know it's like 15 years old, Lana Del Rey, Video Games. I think it's one of the best pop songs ever written. And that's not a joke. I'm not joking. I know she's like mainstream US pop culture. It's an incredible song. If you give it a listen and really give it a listen to the way the bass is organised, composed. Listen to the sort of almost lack of standard percussion. There's also little sort of voiceover bits of some pissed celebrity who's like falling out and they won't let her in a club. It's a fantastic piece of music. I mean that. I play it all the time. It really is a cracking song. But here's the problem we've got, people. Now, me and Mumford ain't talking at the moment. We frequently, over our lives, I think the longest was 4 years. And it's been about a year at the moment. But look, when I go to his channel, this channel doesn't have any content. When I go to playlists, it's got him live, but it's not a very nice sound. It's not Cold Hard Steel. Look, I'll play you a bit.
This is a Cream song. Dance to this if you've got soul.
Can you hear that? Yeah, I can't be doing with that. It's just not so good. Yeah, I'll drop a household tune in. Right, because I won't be looking for Mumford this time. I'm going to play, it's not a popular favourite, but it's a nice song. Here we go, people. See you in a bit. Thank you, Dawn.
You came in my dream, kissed me, loved me. Tears of a baby roll down your cheek. Your eyes are wide, so look around. You've love to give, so get it out. Get it out anytime. Love sits beside me, I feel complete. You came in my dream, kissed me, loved me. Your eyes are wide, so look around. You've love to give, so get it out. Get it out anytime.
Hello, people. I can barely talk now. Yeah, Baz, rocking up and, waking up in Chiang Mai ICU that wasn't planned, but I'm all good now. Anglo has gifted some memberships. People, you need to have your membership set to accept freebies. I tell you it every time. So 5 more of you got freebies, memberships. And tomorrow I'm going to do a Discord members only chat. I put it on let me show you so that you don't miss it. Nice one, Anglo. Very, very kind, very generous. So look, when I go to my channel, I mean, there's not a lot of people left, but it's usually the hardcore that, oh, what the fuck? Sorry, share screen. Entire screen. Right, so when I go to my channel, it's this bit here, posts. You should get a notification. But it's this thing here, like, look, members only live chat, and it says they're members only, and only members can see those posts, and it has the link in it and everything. So look out for your notifications. If you haven't got if you're a member and you haven't got notifications set up, get notifications set up, because tomorrow I'll do one, and they're a good laugh as well. Like, it's not me just dominating. I tend to sit back a bit, really. And it's just like 5 or 6, 4. Well, sometimes it's just 2 of us, but it's like sitting around in the park, just having a chat Sunday afternoon. Well, it'll probably be Sunday morning for you. But yeah. All right, people. It's been excellent. Bless you all. Have a look and see if you got one of Anglo's memberships. Nice one for that, Anglo. Nice one for everyone. I've been talking for 3 hours. I've got to get some sleep. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. And I'm lying about sleeping, by the way. I've got to finish this Substack bit of writing. I thought leaving my business would give me a bit of time off. Nah. But turns out being a professional writer and YouTuber is more work than running a business. Ta-ta and a massive hoit.